What up? What up? I don't know why it does this every time I go live now. What's going on, y'all? My name is Brother Legend. Welcome to my live. If you're joining us on YouTube, please like, share, subscribe, comment down below. I go live every day down there on TikTok. You can join us. My TikTok is Bigbrolgnd. And you can tap on the notification bell in the top right corner of my profile. That'll let you know when we going live. But yeah, what's going on, y'all? It's been a while. Been a while since I've been up here. Just oh man, now y'all can't see me. That's crazy. Now it's playing with y'all. Why my eyes look red? But anyway, look like I've been smoking. I do not smoke. What up, y'all? Look like my eyes red right here. I don't know what's going on. Might be my contact. What up? What up, Scrappy? What's going on, brother? Leisha, appreciate you coming through. What up? What up? Can y'all hear me clear? I got this headset on because my mic did that thing again where it's not working. Okay. I wish I could just stay on the screen. I don't know. What in the world? TikTok trying to play me right now. TikTok trying to play me right now. I'm not sure what's going on. We got some topics up on the board talking about feminism, patriarchy. I got Gloria Steinem. I forgot the other sister's name. I just read her name and I forgot it. Um, Two women that helped um, dismantle the black family in accordance with the CIA. We could talk about that. Gloria Steinem here was actually on the CIA's payroll, and it's a whole thing. Y'all can look it up. Um, but yeah, so we're up here talking about patriarchy. Patriarchy has no gender. A man's bank account does not determine his value. It is not women's job to raise grown ass men. I put ass in there. I felt it was needed. And then black men and black women are not the problem. White tea patriarchy is. You feel me? So if y'all want to come on up and talk about it, we can. If you agree or disagree, maybe you have something to share, something you want to teach us. I welcome any of that. You know, I think it's great that we've been able to exchange information on this platform, but I need y'all to tap like so I can bring my first guest up here. I don't bring guests up until we get to at least 2K likes. So tap like, and we can talk about it. Totally agree with four. Tired of white supremacy. Yeah, absolutely. We are definitely, you ain't more tired than us, I'll tell you that much. Um, Getting you 1,000 likes. Appreciate you, Scrappy. Shout out my brother Scrappy down there. What's going on, little mama? We back. It's been a lovely weekend, but I had to come back and talk with y'all. Um, had to take a few days, kind of unwind with my wife. You know what I'm saying? Just processing some black love. Sometimes we gotta just, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta rub your wife's feet or something. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate you crying. You know, we went out, had some fun with the family. What's going on?
What
Brother
up, bro?
Scrappy,
What
you
up?
here?
What up?
Peace, peace.
Yeah, I
Greetings.
just came up to tell you, TikTok is really playing with your shit. Cause a while
Mm,
ago I was tapping on the screen, and you know how like when you don't tap on the right spot, it shows up that white screen, and you have the report mark. And I was tapping like way higher up, and it was still doing the same shit. So
Oh wow.
They be, but we already know what it is already. Anytime we're dealing with what we're dealing, they
Mm,
gonna be seeing us as the target because you wonder why certain other types of lives don't get that type of discrepancies. You feel me, and
yeah.
hurdles and all of that. Because
Oh yeah,
you
I
have
know.
lives, you have lives where you have many half nude chicks on TikTok. They don't never bend that shit. They push it out. You feel me? But I'm gonna go back down and just step up, bro,
All right,
and
appreciate you.
keep doing what you doing.
All right,
Yeah,
one love.
yeah, one love, bro.
That's my brother Scrappy. For those of you that don't know, he's a Pan African on this app as well, just like myself. I don't even know where Scrappy from, to be honest. Where Scrappy from? Scrappy, where you from, brother? I forget. I know Kuma's from Belize. Kron is from Mississippi, but he speak like he's from Kingston. Lord have mercy. That's the only thing I. Oh, he's from Dominica. That's right. You did say that before. Absolutely. Shout out to my brothers and sisters from the Caribbean. Much love to y'all, man. All my cousins, them. Oh, yeah. No, I know you from Jamaica, but you said you was somewhere in the South, and my wife was like, "He in America?" Yeah. No, you sound like you in the mountains somewhere, growing your hair, jerking some chicken. I'm playing. Lord of mercy. Let's see your wife. Those are fighting words. Those are fighting words. Those are fight words. If you was here, yeah, you see something. The agenda is to keep brothers and sisters discuss problems, not solutions. Hashtag distractions. I hear that. No flesh, no bones. Ah, you don't jerk chicken. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you crying. Yeah, that's it. My wife, she don't like cooking chicken either. To be honest, we need to stop it. But you know what I'm saying? Vinegar too. Vinegar and salt. You know, Layla Africa warned us. You know what I'm saying? Layla Africa warned us. And Dr. Sebi, she's really a follower of Dr. Sebi, my wife. She herbs and all that. You know what I'm saying? Dr. Sebi. But yeah, yeah, I like topics too. I think my mic gave out. I think my mic gave out. I mean, these headphones really are not for. Those headphones are really not for. They're not for iPhone, but I was trying to get away with it. I got a little adapter. Yes, bless up the Empress. She at work right now, but she'll probably tune in later. No, yes, yes. White patriarchy is a problem, but so are black men. Oh, nah. You get a. I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to get a D minus on that one. Let's see. Hold on. She said, "Page. Wait. Why you say no patriarchy has no? Are you saying no patriarchy has no gender, or yes patriarchy has no gender? Like that's like the same thing. I don't know how you're answering no. I don't know. The second one. Okay, so I'm gonna think no means disagree. So patriarchy has no gender. You're saying you disagree with that. What is the gender of patriarchy? And then second one, yes, a man's bank account. So you agree with that one. You agree with the second one, and then you added a. I don't know. What do they call that? You added a twist to the end of the last one. Okay. Yes, we all love women. I think mostly everyone loves women. Even women love women. Everybody loves men and women. I mean, not everyone. All right. Let me fix that. Not everyone. Um, P. Diddy doesn't love women. P. Diddy definitely doesn't love women. I don't know. Some of y'all know what I mean. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know what I mean. There's a lot of men saying P. Diddy loves them, and a lot of women saying P. Diddy didn't like them. So, you know what I'm saying? P. Diddy got something he got going on inside of him that he takes out on women. Feels like he needs to control them because he deep down has a disdain towards them. So he likes, the other side. So, you know what I'm saying? 50 did let us know. 50 did let us know, so it's a shame. It's a shame. Listen, man, this is what I be trying to tell y'all. A lot of what the Pan-Africans and, the conscious brothers talk about, like, a lot of it be facts, but you still gotta work to dismantle patriarchy within ourselves. That's the thing where that's where we can hold brothers accountable. We as brothers need to dismantle patriarchy, and it starts at home. We got to unlearn it first in here. You know what I'm saying? In here and in here, because believe it or not, it aligns with your emotions instantly. Like, that's just natural. We need to do it. And that's the thing, though, because sometimes we'll be speaking facts. We're speaking facts, especially when it comes to, like, certain agendas that's pushed in our neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be friendly. So, certain agendas get pushed in our neighborhood, and brothers are quick to talk about it because they feel like they're not a part of that intersection. You know what I'm saying? And it sometimes the brothers be saying be facts, but it be coming from the wrong place because they didn't unpack it themselves. They didn't unlearn the patriarchy first. So you got to unlearn the patriarchy first before you start attacking those that, make you uncomfortable. You got to. So that's the thing. And the more and more I become aware of it in my own personal life, the more I see it in other people. Of course, that's how it works. That's how self-reflection works. That's why Malcolm X was the man, because that's how self-reflection works. Like, if you are self-reflecting, checking, dotting every I and crossing every T and what's going on in your own mind, everyone else becomes super clear. I can see your mistakes easier than I can see mine. Right? Like, it's easy to see what's wrong with you. If I know what's wrong with me, it's easier because it takes self-reflection. It takes critical thinking to look at myself. Now, so that can make you seem self-righteous. So that's where you got to be careful. But what I'm saying is, I could definitely see other brothers going the wrong way. And I'll be like, damn, all right, somebody got to let them know. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we had a dude come up here and really struggled on them pronouns. When I asked him his pronouns, to me, that means you haven't unlearned enough. You know what I'm saying? If you have a problem calling yourself he, and you prefer to be called he, and I ask you your pronouns, and you don't want to answer that question, but you call yourself black, that tells me you ain't learned enough about white supremacy. You ain't learned enough. If you comfortable calling yourself black, but you ain't comfortable replying with he, him, it tells me you ain't learned enough. You see what I'm saying? We're talking about two different types of oppression that come from the same oppressor. And so the reason we address ourselves as black people is because we understand that when we're having these conversations, we're all oppressed under the title black. So then we also need to have intersectionality. And so it's okay to identify yourself with the oppressions of other people by admitting, hey, I'm a man, I prefer the term he, him. Okay, cool. That's all you had to say. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. Hey, D, what's going on, sister?
What's up? All
Good to
right.
see you. Good to hear from you again.
You doing your little go-go. Let me know when I can go.
All right, yeah, go ahead, talk to us. I've been up here for a minute. It's
Oh,
kind of quiet
man.
tonight.
Okay. So, Holy Spirit, activate, activate, activate. Holy Spirit, activate. Y'all need to get on your feet. Hey, and move to the beat. I am petty. All right. Hello, 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 and welcome in, Negroes and friends. Welcome in. You are in Brother Legends Live. Again, you are in Brother Legends Live. Go ahead and tap that screen. Tap, tap, tap. Let's get to 50K, you guys. Tap it out. Tap, tap, tap. Make sure that you share the live. Share with your friends, your frenemies. Even share it with your gosh darn enemies. We're here for it, you guys. We like to fight. When someone's up here and they're acting like a poon, go ahead and send the gosh darn pause. Send the pause. We're ready for it. And don't forget to gift your host, you guys. Gift your host, but most importantly, make sure you subscribe. Subscribe to Brother Legends Live here and on YouTube. And also join the Discord. B1 Initiative. So guess what, you guys? It's time to slam. It's time to dunk. But it's most importantly, it's time to discuss what's going on in Brother Legends Live.
Appreciate you, D. Yo, today is I don't know. The screen is not rocking with me today. It's just doing this whole I don't know what it is. I don't know. I gotta like sit very still. I don't know what's going on, but anyway, yeah, I had to put the shades on. You know what I'm saying? Because my eyes are kind of red. I don't know what's going on. I think my contact is like irritating my eye, but it's not because I smoke. To be honest, I don't smoke, so I'm not up here high. My eyes are red. Not that there's anything wrong with smoking, you know. Well, I mean, might be something a little bit wrong with smoking. It depends on how much you do it. But we could talk about that another time. Yeah, I know. I know. I'm not a rapper though, so you know, I'm not gonna sit here and tell y'all to do it every day. That means you might have some internalized things going on that you need to stop self-medicating for. But I can only say that once again, as someone that has unpacked that myself, I'm not saying it does mean that. That's what it meant for me. So I had to learn to chill with the smoking. I realized I was self-medicating a lot of harm. As black men, we're taught to just deal with stuff, and that's why we drink and smoke so much. So you know, that's the thing. If you want to go off topic, yeah. What do you want to talk about? I don't know what that means. Yeah, Snoop definitely quitting. Reinforced. It helped me feel, you know, like I might have did the right thing. You know, someone put "Save Our Men." That's facts. That's facts. I'm only doing this because that's the only way it stays. That's weird. I have to keep my hands here in order for it to stay. But anyway, yeah, smoking, brothers smoking, is definitely something that's
Yes,
harming
sir.
us. We're very likely to die from lung cancer. That's a thing. What were you saying, D?
I was like, that was weird, but I was, trying to see what was going on when you did that. Yeah.
I don't know. What's good, David?
Yo, what's up, man?
Hey, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
28, male, and he,
Okay.
him.
All right, and your race.
Oh, white.
All right, talk to us.
What's up, man? I think I was gonna say on the man's bank account doesn't determine the value. I think, like, unfortunately though, like in the world we live in, I feel like it kind of like does. Like, I feel like we're like men, like we're just judged based off of like how successful we are and what we make, and like nothing, like sadly, like nothing really else. I think that's like how like I don't know. I think that's how men like get their value. I think that's how women pick us. I think that's like a big part of like our roles in society. How I don't know. I feel like that's just how men are viewed today, just based off of like how much they make.
Hmm. And so,
Oh, digger. Don't no woman want no abusive man that's rich, physically
hmm.
or verbally.
I know, but it's like women say that, but then they don't give the dude a shot that works at the McDonald's drive-through. Like they
How?
say that, but you don't. I mean, it shows. You get what I'm saying? It shows otherwise. Like
No, it
it's easy
doesn't,
to
because
say
it shows
that,
a
but
lack of ambition based on
um,
where you work in that regard.
exactly. You're so you're
But
saying it's
no,
not
no, no.
ambitious to work at
You're see,
McDonald's.
if you're working at McDonald's, how old are you?
No, I'm not personally.
No, I'm asking.
Yeah, but
How
that's
old is
the
a
thing.
person
It's
that's
like,
working at McDonald's?
but do you see how
I'm
that
not
like there
judging
could be
anything. I'm an ambitious
all right
person. So
30.
how I choose to live my life is based on my own comfortabilities, but it's also how hard I work. My work ethic isn't going to let me sit at a drive-through at McDonald's because I
Yeah,
have
that's
things I
literally what
want
I'm
to
saying.
obtain. It's not
That's
the
literally my
same.
point.
That's not the same because a person that has no ambition is a person that also probably doesn't offer a lot of other things that a person wants to pair and partner with. If I'm pairing and partnering with you and you have no ambition to want more out of life, then what are we doing?
Which will in turn raise
Your
your
bank
bank
account will
account.
be raised with that person you choose.
Right. That's my whole point.
That's not a point because you're saying that a man is judged solely based on his bank account.
Well, yeah, if the guy at McDonald's isn't going to get the same shot as your ambitious
How would
people.
a woman know you work at McDonald's when she meets you?
Well, what if she like? All right, what would you do if you found out
What do you
that a
mean if
dude
I
working
found out? I ask questions before we in a relationship anyway.
Right. So would you even give a guy a
So I'm
shot
not
like
dating
that?
a dude based off of a lot of things, particularly, but it isn't going to be based off his bank account. You know how many rich men I'm not with that had money?
Right, but I
Yo,
think
that's facts. A lot of sisters. Hey man, shout out to the sisters because I've had these conversations with some of my exes, and I had this conversation with my wife. There's a lot of sisters that turn down some of these rich dudes, man. If you're a
right.
man enough to have a real conversation with your woman about her past, you'll find out you're not always the richest one she been with, man. Shout out to some sisters with morals, man.
Right, and maybe then maybe I'll speak for white girls then, because to be honest, I
I was
don't.
about to say that, yeah, because
Yeah,
I'm talking
because that's
about
what they
the
do.
traditions of your people. Exactly. In
Yeah.
y'all society, hey man, this one right here might be capped to y'all. In y'all society, yeah. Mhm.
No, yeah, no, because look, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know shit about black culture, bro. I'm not even gonna come up here and pretend I do. I'm white, but the point is, in like with white people, dude, girls like I know so many girls I never had a shot with when I was like low on money, not making like a good income, that would talk to me now just solely based on the fact that I'm on like the come up. Like it's literally like I don't. I'm telling you, dude, and it's sad because it's like I'm not saying like I don't know how it is for you guys, but like for white people, bro, like that's literally. I mean, look at society in general. How white people are like greedy, yo.
Mhm.
White people are mad greedy. Like, I'm the first to admit
Snapped.
that.
That's all I'm going to say. Snapped.
But
Bro,
it's
why is
sad.
there a show called Snapped?
But
Yeah.
yeah,
Hey man, that's the
I
thing,
don't
man.
know.
You know, y'all taught us capitalism. I'm just trying to help some of the brothers and sisters unlearn some of that. But
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. Nah, I agree, man. It's kind of fucked up, but nah, that's kind of all I wanted to really comment on was the bank account thing.
Did y'all see the YT women in the chat was telling him not to speak for them?
Yo, it's
Well,
crazy.
come
They
up here
say
and
that
speak
though.
for yourselves. Come up here. Come
They
on up.
say that, dude. White girls are annoying as fuck. Yeah, I don't even know. I don't know. They're
Oh
annoying
my.
as fuck. I'm gonna be honest. They are, bro.
What is so annoying about them? I wouldn't know.
Yeah, no, you don't want to know. You don't want to know. They
What's
just,
so
dude. They just
annoying?
no. They act like that, bro. But like they're the first. Like they they're all fake, bro. They're all like they all want to get their lip injections and they all want to get their BBLs and they're fake as fuck, dude. And then they act like, oh, don't speak for white women, and they're the same white women who are going to go after the dude that drives the Beamer and has the big bank account. They just talk shit, and it's true, bro. They want to act like it's not true, but it's true. So that's how it is. But
Fake news.
fake news, my ass. It's true, bro. It's like I live it. I see it. Like they're fucking. I don't know, bro. I got a good girlfriend, but
Well, unless any of the frosted flea males want to come up here and defend your honor, I'm gonna have to take his word for it. We got 167 people in here, and I ain't never seen 167 black folks get together, and there's no thin-lipped women around. So if anybody want
yo,
to
what
come
I
up
say?
here,
Lip injections, right? Yep.
well, yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah. So
Yeah, because they want to steal your all culture. That's what it is, and they're afraid to admit that too.
Oh, shoot.
They're afraid to admit that
I
too.
don't know. I don't know how I felt about that.
That's
But
true. They're trying. That's what they're trying to do.
okay.
It's true, bro. It's the truth. It's the truth.
Uh, I
Started with the
mean,
fake
mm,
ass Kardashians, bro. It's the truth. They don't like to hear the truth, bro. You're never
That's
gonna
a
be able
whole
to
other
talk,
conversation.
bro. You're
How
never
did
gonna
the
be. Yeah,
Kardashians impact white women?
they didn't, bro. They did them an injustice, and it's the truth, bro. Because the Kardashians were the first like mainstream white girls to try to like act like they can act like they're black, bro, and steal black culture. And then all these other white girls are trying to do it, and they're trying to wear your hairstyles without having any education, any knowledge about it, and why you guys actually wear your hair the way you do, and all that shit. And then they want to come up and try to pull the, oh, we're not racist. Shut the fuck up. All white people are racist, bro. We're all racist in some extent, bro. It's fucking. I'll speak the truth, yo. I really don't care. I'll speak the truth. I don't give a fuck.
all right,
People
peaceful
say,
person, David. You're gonna get us taken down, but
oh, my bad, my bad, my bad,
yeah.
my bad.
White people
It's the
can't
truth,
steal
though.
culture from people that don't have culture.
Bro, I'm gonna get off now because this dude's gonna annoy me. All
That's
right, bro. It was
crazy.
nice talking to you guys.
Yeah, I can tell.
Don't have
Black people have
culture.
no culture.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it?
All right, Eli. I don't feel like you have the
Okay, nigger, kick me. I don't
IQ
give a fuck.
to be up here, so I'm gonna just.
Now, we ain't no N-words, first of all.
He said
Weirdo.
that.
Yeah. Somebody N-word kick me.
Hey man, put F1 down there, man. What a weirdo. What a bum. That's so weird. I mean, he was saying that it'd be the women. I'll be honest. The weirdest interactions I've had with them people have come from the men. They're weirder than the women. Not for the women to think that's a flex, but
Yo, real quick,
yeah.
he just proved my point. That's what I'm saying. Sad ass world, bro.
Let me ask David a question. David, why do you think that YT women are strange? You don't think YT men are strange?
They are.
Y'all
They
feel
are.
like, why y'all do that lip thing? Like, why y'all do that little squeeze the lip thing?
Yo, yo, look. Here's the thing, too. I ain't even gonna try to come up here and act like I'm like all like trying to act like a white savior type person because that's weak as fuck too. But I think no, it is, bro. That shit's weak. I'm not gonna
Cuss.
come up here.
Don't
I'm
cuss.
not gonna
Don't
come up here
cuss.
and dick ride black people or anybody, bro. I'm not doing that. I'm just trying to speak the
Cuss.
truth.
All right,
And
yeah.
I,
Try to
I
PG it up, man. Like you're on
oh my
barbecue.
bad, my bad. I got a bad mouth, bro. But
You do.
I think the reason is just like I don't know. You all I noticed lately it feels like more and more now you're seeing white people like try to like mimic like black culture. Well, I see it with like I see it a lot now too with like the hairstyles and like the you see it a lot with like the lip fillers. They're trying to like they want to
You ever
look like
ask
real.
them why they do it though?
Um, that's a good no. That's a good ass question. I don't know.
Because they want to take on the illusion of being capable of culture. They
Right,
want to take on the illusion of being like innovative in some way. So
right,
they
right.
think it's innovative just to do the same thing that's already been done, but do it while being white. They think that makes them different in some way, like they're adding some sort of culture that they don't have and they're able to
Well, low key,
participate.
yeah, low
So
key, white, bro. Like it's like if you're white, you really ain't got a culture though. Like we got hot dogs and we got like baseball, but that ain't really culture, bro. Like we don't really got shit. Like I don't know. We got uh we got sauerkraut or something. I don't know. Like we really don't have like I don't know what. Yeah, I get what
So
you're
there's
saying. I get
nothing
what you're
that y'all
saying.
do every
Yeah,
day, like I mean every year or once a year,
we don't do
besides burn down towns and cities and stuff or burn
nah.
crosses.
You know what? I don't know. I don't know. We really ain't like yeah. Someone said you ain't got shit. Like it's kind of facts though. Like we really don't. Like I'm not. I can't really argue that because we really don't. Like I don't know.
What's your mom's favorite meal to cook?
Yo, chill out. Yo, not my mama. Come on,
No,
not
I'm
my mama.
asking you what I said. What's her favorite meal to cook? It ain't about
green bean casserole and yogurt.
I
Yo, that's
hate you, brother.
crazy. I'm not gonna lie. I don't even know. I cook for myself to be honest.
Now, for real, you really don't know your mom like the favorite thing she used to cook when you was a kid?
I grew up kind of. I grew up kind of poor, but she would make. She tried her best.
Easy
She
math.
tried. Easy. Yeah, I grew up on like Lunchables. It
For
was
real?
yeah, ramen
That's it.
noodles.
Okay, let me say this for everybody in chat. Because everybody know or experienced a hard time. In that hardship, that's when you got the best home cooked meals.
Yeah,
Cause
that's true.
you ain't eating out. We ain't eating out. She gonna cook something, but damn, black people are
She would just
amazing.
make like random. Honestly, I eat just a lot of we would use an air fryer for like everything. So I would just have
Those are new,
whether it was
bro.
like chicken, the Tyson chicken nuggets with the Tyson chicken nuggets with the Bob Evans mashed potatoes that you heat up in the microwave like every night. That's my shit.
Damn.
Yeah. Yep.
Man, we'll have a nice good pot of spaghetti that'll last you 2 or 3 days with some
Yeah,
cornbread.
facts.
And it's either a salad and some green beans or some green beans,
Yeah.
man.
Yo, that's
What you
facts.
talking about? Macaroni salads, man.
So
Macaroni.
somebody said he wasn't poor.
It might be some chili. It's gonna be
Hold up.
some stuff that's
Hold
stretched.
up.
Like, what you talking about?
He
Yo,
said,
that is facts. I thought we was the only ones. We ate spaghetti every week. She would make it on Wednesday, and it would last till like Sunday. Like we was eating spaghetti.
It's gonna be
That's
full,
crazy.
but it's gonna be a
Big
good
pot.
old.
Yeah. Because it don't dry out really in the fridge. You can just
It's
ask
kind of
him if he eats
cornbread
corn.
salad, lovely. You petty.
Y'all are crazy.
Your mom
Nah,
make
I
cornbread
eat it.
salad this year for Thanksgiving?
cornbread salad.
I
Brother,
don't
when I
even know.
heard it, I was on the floor.
I ain't never had no. Oh, you said cornbread salad. You talking about dressing?
No, it's they actually take the cornbread and they put a layer down. They put a actual salad on top of it. Put another layer of cornbread. Put the salad on top.
What?
When I saw that on TikTok, I hollered, man. I ain't never seen nothing like that in my life.
Oh, that's crazy. Cornbread salad. Y'all are crazy.
I never
I
heard of that.
mean, the most country thing I ever heard of was turducken. That was wild. I
What
don't know
is
if that's
that?
black folks. Black folks eat that too, right? Am I tripping? Turducken.
You know what that is?
Turducken is turkey, chicken, and duck. Like they put it, they put them all together. Turducken.
Yeah, I don't know about that, brother.
We don't
I
have
know
duck where
about
I'm
demi
from.
gravy. I know about some goose liver.
Oh, yeah, that's wild.
Where I'm from, we don't have none of duck, goose, none of that.
Man. Well, let me talk to this next guest,
Yeah,
Dawn.
it's not nice talking to you guys. I'll
Dawn.
bounce so you can
All right, peace, David.
let him
I
know.
Dawn,
did it.
See
give
ya.
us age, race, and pronouns, please.
Peace. My name is Don. My age is 25. My pronouns are they, them.
And your race?
My race, I'm African American.
All right, talk to us, Don.
Yeah, man. So I was a little intrigued by the statement patriarchy has no gender. What exactly does that mean to you?
I'm sorry, I have to do weird things with my hands. You sound really low, Dawn. I can't really hear
Pretty low
you.
and muffled.
Yeah.
Okay, let me take this headset off.
Uh-huh.
Hello?
Yeah. Say something else.
You hear me now?
That's better. What was your
Okay.
question?
I was saying patriarchy has no gender. What exactly does that statement mean to you?
That means that the way patriarchy is upheld in society is not exclusive to men.
You know, I'd have to agree with that statement because if we think about it critically and we say that we're all citizens living in a society and we're all affected by the sociological phenomenon, then it would only by logical conclusion conclude that everybody can be affected by these systems of oppression because it's something that we all experience on a personal and on a grand scale. So that makes perfect sense to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I agree with the second statement too. A man's bank account does not determine his value because I think it's a very a statement that requires a lot of nuance to be able to give meaning to it.
Mm.
I think that when you look at white society, like what was revealed in that last conversation with David, white society is heavily based on the individual and boasting monetary gains as a way of signifying social status within society. But when you
Mm-hmm.
look at African societies, a man's value has always been predicated on what he brings to the community. If you look
Mm-hmm.
at all of our leaders, you look at the Kwame Ture's, the Malcolm X's, the Martin Luther King's, all the people like that. Um, it was always evident that their value, they were so valuable because the impact that they brought to their communities. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that can't be understated enough.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think the third one is just self-explanatory for itself. How you expecting a woman to raise a grown man? Like, I think a lot of men are caught in fantasy land, and thinking that a woman is supposed to be the ends all be all for them. And I think when you grow older and wiser, you realize that the work is on the personal, the work is on the individual to grow and
Mm-hmm.
develop as a person, because nobody knows you like you know yourself. So there's no way that somebody will be able to see all of the baggage that you carry and be able to help you heal through all of that. And it's damn sure ain't nobody else's responsibility to help you heal. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I do believe that we should be healing in communities. I think, being somebody who's been on a healing journey for a long time, I've come to the conclusion that this idea of self care and self healing is an important one, because it's important because we are individuals and everything starts at an individual level, but everything can be done better and grander when we heal on a community scale, and we see the parallels that are drawn between our individual suffering, and we use that as a template to as a launching pad to build together and grow with one another and be able to transcend these systems of oppression.
Okay. All right. What do you think about the last one?
Black women, black women and black men are not the problem. White patriarchy is. I mean, definitely, man. You can't. The problem is always gonna start with the perpetrator. You can't victim blame the people who are under the circumstances trying to make the best out of it. To
Mm-hmm.
look at them as if they're the people who are um, causing the problem or perpetuating the problem. um, you have to look at the creator of the problem, and you have to hold him fully responsible for fixing it. Because, to be honest, it's not black people's fault to end white supremacy. It's not our fault, but it's not our responsibility to end white supremacy, because we didn't start this shit.
Mm-hmm.
We were living happily before it started, and we'll be living happily after it ends. But it's ultimately not our responsibility to be able to put that weight on our shoulders to fix all of it. I think I think it's important for us to cultivate community where we feel a break from the um the burden that is white supremacy and all of its other systems of oppression that are entangled with it. Um, but I don't believe that it's ultimately our responsibility. I believe that we have a role to play in the liberation of our people. Um, but that's gonna be something that takes the masses of the people. It's gonna take all people to come together and say that we want to live in a more just society. We want to live under righteous conditions, and ultimately demand that for ourselves. We gotta think
Absolutely.
about it. Black people and indigenous melanated people are the global majority. We're like 5.8, what, like 5.8 billion people, if not more than that. So it's ultimately up to us to say that we are to recognize that we already have the power for once, because The biggest illusion, that the oppressor plays is it keeps us in this mental trap where we believe that we don't have the power, when all of the power that they create is superficial, and it's only successful and contingent on the basis of our um, honoring the systems in place that they have put in place. The second we say we're going to stop banking, the second we say we're going to stop using these monetary notes, the second we say fuck the system, the second we step back into our own power and we see the value that we bring to the system, and how our individual action is the water turning the mill.
All right. Well, what do you give him, D?
He gotta be.
You got a B? All right. I was gonna give him higher than that. I was gonna give him an A, but why do you say you got a B?
He was cussing. And you
All
kind of low.
I'm sorry, my mic.
right. Well, she just hating. I'll give him an
First, appreciate you guys.
A. All right. Yeah, appreciate you coming up. Let me go to the next guest. Abyssinia, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
My name is
No, not
Aljawan.
you. Not you.
Oh,
We're gonna come to you
oh
next.
my God, my bad.
Yeah.
What's up, brother legend? It's a pleasure to be here. I'm a follower. I love your show. My age range, it's 35 to 40.
All right.
I'm a woman.
Mhm.
I don't do the pronoun. Like, I'm new to the whole pronoun world, so I'm just a woman.
All right.
Okay.
So choose
Um,
one. She, he, they.
I'm a she.
All
Yes, I'm a
right.
she.
Cool. And then
Yes.
give us your race.
I'm an Ethiopian. I'm an African woman.
All right. Talk
Born
to
in
me.
Africa, raised in the West. So yeah, so I'm just gonna briefly, I don't have too much time, but I'll briefly go through each point. Completely agree that patriarchy has no gender. We live in a patriarchal society, so we've been conditioned to live under this rule, or this kind of dominion. So I think men have been conditioned, women have been conditioned, and we fulfill this kind of ideology in a day-to-day basis. So I also don't think that men's value is solely about finances. Men's value goes far beyond that. They are our leaders. They are our strength. They are what makes our community stronger. So it's very important that men are involved with every step of the process, as far as family unit, as far as community activities for our people, to lead them in the right direction. So he can have money. I mean, if he doesn't have money, but if he has intelligence and intellect, and he knows what he wants for his people, if he has goals in mind, I think those are more important than having money. Financial security obviously is very important, but I don't think that should be the end all be all.
Any man that
Um,
has a goal knows that.
exactly. Any man with ambition and a goal, and those are
Mm-hmm.
two very, very important things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's also not a woman's job to raise grown men, but this may sound controversial to some people. Like, sometimes a lot of the things I say is either misunderstood or controversial. But in this new world that we're in, there's a lot of single mother households. I'm a single mother myself. I'll say that first. So when men get into relationships with other women, it's almost like they're looking for that mother figure all over again. And so women are placed in this position where they have to guide the men, because they haven't gotten the whole spectrum of what a family unit is supposed to look like.
Mm.
So I think that's one thing. Even if you're not the father, right? We need to have communities where there's men that actually lead the youth. We need to have more community programs for the youth, especially young boys and young men that don't have fathers in the home, that can lead them, that can educate them, that can just give them that guidance that they need as far as education, what they want to do in their future, how to build their families, how to treat women. Like there's so many things that we can do to, yeah, mentors, exactly, that can guide these young men and keep them off the streets, and keep
So
them
you
out of
saying,
trouble.
or are you saying that women can't raise boys to be men?
I don't think they can. No, I don't. I'm not a man, right? For me though, I was lucky to have my father around. So my father was
Yeah, you
very
sound like
involved in my son's life. So
yeah.
I can say that I give him that credit.
Hmm.
So a man's role in a child's life, whether it's a girl or a boy, it's vital for their for how they can remain grounded, right? How they can love themselves. They need this discipline. I feel men are better at disciplining kids in
Yeah.
general than women. I feel women are a little more empathetic. They're a little bit more compassionate and nurturing. You need that steady hand, that sturdy hand to be more disciplined, right? You need good cop, bad cop is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah.
um,
Hopefully no cops,
um,
but yeah, I know what you mean.
no cop. Oh no, we don't want those around. But oh no.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying, like my dad was always like my mom was always somebody that I could go talk to. She was more nurturing and things. My dad was more of the like heavy hand. He laid down the law. You're going to bed. This, he was more structured in his discipline.
Hmm.
Um, okay, so then I'm going to touch on the last part. Black men and black women are not the problem. White patriarchy is. All right. So let's get into that part because patriarchy is a fairly new thing. I mean 5,000 years old, maybe 6,000 years old at the most, right? And Africa in
Five
general was
thousand. Wait, hold
predominantly,
on. Where are
yeah.
you counting as the beginning of patriarchy?
Patriarchy started with the beginning of agriculture. So when we're talking about patriarchy, the at that time, the women were actually, it was a more of a matriarchal society. And when these agricultures were growing, there was militaries that grew that came and conquered these agricultural fields and captured them and invaded them and took it away from the woman. And because they had that heavy hand, they had artillery and things, they took over and they made it into a patriarchal society. So it like today, right
What
now,
societies are you talking about though?
so matriarchal societies, there's about
No, no, I'm saying
162.
patriarchy.
Oh,
What
yes.
society
So
can you link
this
to the beginning
started
of
in the
patriarchy?
Mesopotamia. This started
Mm,
around the Mesopotamian area.
mm.
So it started there, and then it just spread throughout. But even if you look at Africa now, there's still matriarchal societies. So in Ethiopia, there's a tribe from one of the regions where I'm from. They're called the Kunama people, and they still follow a matriarchal society, a matriarchal ideology. And there's like 161 others all across the world that
Yeah,
follow
yeah.
matriarchal societies,
I
so
know
and they
matrilineal. I'm not sure about
thrive.
matriarchal, but matrilineal, definitely.
Yeah,
I'm not sure about the
matrilineal,
people you
yes, but
named, but
there's also,
I know Ashanti. They're
uh-huh,
matrilineal.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, and,
Mm.
and and it gives more what was the name of that book? Oh my gosh, I have it in my camera roll, but it's so far back. I'm gonna waste your time by trying to find it. But there, like the Ghana, there's a book written on that where the women actually are the ones who choose their leaders. They're the ones who can opt to remove certain leaders, right? The women have control of finances. The women, when they get married, they actually go pick up the husband with their family.
Yeah.
And then the uncles are actually responsible for raising the children instead of the father. The father is out working and things, and the uncles are responsible for raising these children. So, and these
Mm.
communities thrive. They're thriving communities because it's more community based. The women are more involved, and women are very intellectual. They have intuition. There's so many things that women can
Yo, that's
contribute.
crazy what you just said. Blew my mind. I'm not even gonna lie. That got me thinking like, wow. Like, do you know the name of the quote unquote tribe? I like to call them, society, where the
Yeah,
uncles
I
raise the
yes,
children.
I do.
Where,
Yes, I do. I'll send it to you. Yeah, I'll
yeah,
send you the link. I'll find it
that
and I'll
sounds
send it to
amazing.
you.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
and this is actually in Indonesia. This is an Indonesian community. So
Mm.
these communities are spread throughout the world.
Yeah.
It's not just us. So it goes to show you how far the patriarchy has spread all over the world. When
Yeah.
women used to be treasure, they used to be just the epitome of life, and they just totally flipped the script on everyone. And I think this is what's ruining society today.
Mm.
You know, we
Okay.
need more women in government. We need more women in leadership, community leadership. There's so many things that women can contribute, and I think we need to go more towards that. But I mean, if you look at certain areas like Saudi Arabia, for example, they're more patriarchal and they oppress their women. Actually, they oppress them.
Mm-hmm.
They can't go to school. They don't want
Yeah.
them to, and it shows in how they behave. It shows in the behavior of the men. It shows in the behavior of the women, and it's really debilitating. They were so brainwashed and conditioned. So we
Mm.
need to step away from that. We need to open up our minds. Like they've lied about everything, and it's really especially Africa. Africa is in a poor state right now, and there's lots of politics. There's lots of geopolitics that everybody should be aware of. I mean, they're trying to own Africa. Okay, they're trying to take over,
Yeah, that
and
news
these are the
about Zimbabwe got me kind of pissed last week.
yes, where they
Yeah,
sold off the forest
20
lands.
20%,
20%,
20%.
yes. And just what today, or was it yesterday, Ethiopia made a deal with UAE to make a deal of $600 million of wind farm land. So basically,
Where?
UAE in Ethiopia.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, yes, they're coming in. They're coming slowly but surely. And so these are
Legend.
the things we need to be aware about so that, if you ever decide to go to Africa one day, it's not going to be yours. And
Yeah.
you might as well just go to Saudi Arabia because you're going to get the same treatment, you
Wow.
know? And these are the things that I think our people, even if you're in America, we should be aware of these things. That's your home just as much as it's mine.
Yeah.
That is ours,
Mhm.
okay? And I wish more black people would wake up, melanated people, however you refer to yourself. We need to wake up because they're taking over our home. And
Right.
and it's really frustrating for me how people just, there's certain countries in the Horn in East Africa that don't see it. They don't see it.
Oh yeah, we know they
They
going.
they're very they're very blind, and
Yeah.
it's for me it's frustrating because I grew up with Americans. I grew up with Black Americans. I grew up with Africans. This is I'm African. You can't take that away from me ever. And
Hmm.
eventually I'm gonna go back home. I'm gonna build my business there, and that's where I'm gonna live for the rest of my life.
Hmm. Yeah.
So I think we should all think like that. But I
Mhm.
appreciate you for having me up, Brother Legend.
Absolutely.
Come through anytime. um, yeah, I'm gonna drop, but thank you for having me. But I want to know, D Diva, what's my score? You
Got
had
an
me
A.
scared. You had me shook. I get an
Yes,
A.
you got an A.
Yeah,
Hey,
she
I'll tell
got
you why you
A.
got
all
an A.
right. I can sleep happy.
She got an A
I can
because
sleep
she said
happy now.
something that essential to me as a black man, and I grew up with a black man in my house, and my life would be totally different if I didn't have my dad. So yeah, you got an A for sure.
All right.
Absolutely. Thank
Yeah.
you, sis. Thank you. All right,
Um.
Brother Legend. I'm gonna head out. Thank you so much for
Okay.
having me.
Thanks for coming up, Pete, sister.
No problem. Peace.
All right, y'all. Keep tapping like down there. We appreciate you. Keep tapping like, tapping like. Let's try to get to 100K tonight. I know these are not the topics I normally do. And it's probably not going to end up like the Maury show up here unless somebody comes up here really ignorant. I'm not going to entertain that type of stuff. We try to host a productive conversation here. Hopefully, you learn something that you didn't know before you stopped by. If you're getting something from the live, please feel free to share it with your friends. We really appreciate that. It lets the algorithm know that y'all are getting value from the live. Send some gifts, even if it's just a rose, whatever it is. That also lets the algorithm know. And keep tapping like. If you can't do either of those, just tapping like helps us stay trending. Appreciate you. All right, I'm gonna go to the next guest, Al Jawan. Could you give us your age, race, and pronouns?
Uh, yes. First, I want to start off, Brother Legend, by saying, peace. Peace be upon you. You know, I'm a big fan. I've been watching your TikTok for a long time, long time. I'm 20 years old. You know, male, black male. Uh, what else? It was.
And your pronouns,
Oh, he. Of
they.
course.
All right, cool.
I'm
Appreciate
so.
you.
I'm
Thanks
sorry.
for the
I'm
comment.
just. Uh, anytime.
Mhm.
I'm just a little nervous. My fault.
All
So.
right, no, that's fine. Go ahead. Talk about some of the topics up above. Tell us what's on your mind.
Uh, well, first I'd like to start off with the sister who previously was in here previously said. I agree with her about the black women. You know, men needing women. I mean, young men needing men, their fathers, and big figures in their life because I don't. I I ain't gonna. I'm not gonna say black women can't raise black men because throughout history, it's been multiple instances where a black woman has been capable of raising a black male. We saw that with John Jacques Dessalines from the Haitian Revolution. You
Mhm.
know, that's my main example. Another example probably would be, I don't know how true this is, but for the most part, I know Shaka Zulu was mostly raised by his mother throughout his entire life, and we see how he grew to be a great warrior king.
Mhm.
Uh, so the black father's role is essential because the male father figure does teach some things that a woman she can't teach, which I agree with. Cause me having my father, like I understand that, you know,
Mhm.
cause I everything he's taught me before he passed away previously 3 months ago.
Oh,
I
sorry to hear that, brother.
thank you, brother Legend. Uh, yeah, I taken everything he taught me into account, uh,
Yep.
and I'm pushing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I've been there. I've been there myself. I was 15. My father passed, so I know what that feel like, and
Yeah,
try to be as mindful as you can of yourself and where you want to end up in life. And yeah, I mean, that's just remember the lessons he taught you. You know what I'm saying? Sounds like he put a good lesson in you. So I'm just speaking from my personal experience.
yeah,
I had to cling on to that. I was 15. I was just becoming a man, you feel me? And I
yes
had to
sir,
cling on to that and internalize it quick because the world would try to tell you a different story of how men are supposed to be and all this other stuff. But never forget your blueprint. You know what I'm saying? Your father's your blueprint. He show you who he is, and you could choose what you want to become, and based off of him, how you want to improve. You know what I'm saying?
yes sir.
For
Yeah, yeah. So that's the first topic I wanted to get past. Uh, um, the second one is a man's bank account doesn't determine his value because I be trying to preach that at work, but you know what I'm saying.
real.
People, my generation, they tripping.
Because
You
of the
know what I'm
first
saying?
one. Because of the first one. And,
Yep,
and and that's the thing. So the men and the women will disagree with this one because they both have internalized patriarchy already.
that's right. I be saying, like me personally, I I tell people of color mostly this, because this is the God and it's true. And and when I say this, they tend to label me as radical, and and they what I'm saying. And I got into a point now, but like if I'm labeled radical, you know what I'm saying, and you might be doing something right, you know.
Mhm.
You might just be doing something right. So I tell them, I keep it real with them. I say, bro, we black, bro. You can be a millionaire,
Mhm.
and to the white people, guess what you is? You just a N word with money.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
Uh-huh. That's right. Yeah. So I mean, end of the day, we can't let money define us in a world where
Well,
where black men are largely excluded from financial gain. You know what I'm saying? So,
yes,
like
sir.
we're the least employed demographic, the most incarcerated demographic, and the least likely to live to 65. So
And
yeah.
that's not even just an American thing. That's a worldwide
Oh,
thing to me.
worldwide, yeah.
That's a
Mm-hmm.
worldwide thing to me. And then
Mm-hmm.
they hate, and it make you mad when my own people hate me for saying that. And I be speaking truth because it is the truth, and somebody got to speak strongly to them because we doing it's the same. History is just repeating itself. Because as long as we don't own nothing, as long as we can't say something, we got something of our own. We just gonna keep on going back to the white man saying, "Oh, let me have this. Please let me. Can you spare this?" Like, bro, if the white, if they really respected us like they said, if they really respected us like they said, Stevie Wonder wouldn't have to march out in the cold in Washington D.C. to get Martin Luther King's birthday. He wouldn't have to do that. He wouldn't have to do that. That man wouldn't
Right.
have to do that. And,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't see, if people don't see it, bro. People don't see it. And
Yeah.
that's what's crazy to me. They put it in your face. They think they when they see these politicians, okay, say for the Dems, because I'm against the Dems and the Republicans. I'm for
I
black.
heard
I'm
that.
from black. I'm from black.
Mm-hmm.
I'm for black. I'm against them Dems and the Republicans. But with Democrats, you know what I'm saying? It's like what Malcolm X said. It's the fox and the wolf. And the
Mm-hmm.
Republican is seen as the wolf because they out with theirs mostly. They let you know what their plans is. They let you know we don't give a crap about you. You know what I'm saying? And with the Dems, black people go to those Democratic rallies. We see a Democratic political candidate do one of a black made dance. Did that white man just do a dance? I'm gonna vote for him.
Yeah.
Come on,
Uh-huh.
man. Come on, man.
Best example of that from a movie perspective is Cadillac Records.
That's right.
Oh
Yes.
yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And with the Republicans, they just use black celebrities to get you to vote for them. Like for example, James Brown. James Brown. And look how many black celebrities Donald Trump had with him. Uh and I ain't gonna lie, it's a lot of when I first woke up, cause I'm humble enough to admit that I'm not too I woke up my first time receiving some woke information, I wanna say around the age of 16, you know. And then it started to grow from that. At first I started off like as like, yeah, Black Lives Matter, but like at the same time, you know what I'm saying? I thought we could make it here in America.
Yeah.
But then, it was what finally woke me up was when I reached the age of 18. I saw the first ever speech by the late great honorable Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad.
Oh
And
yeah. Oh man, you woke up quick, huh?
when I heard Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad speak, it's like I resonated with that, how angry he was. I'm like,
Yeah.
I, listening to him, following the teachers of people like him, you start to take on how they speak, cause it's the truth.
Right.
And I got a whole back a lot, it's so much, cause it's not like I want to tell black people you should just go out and attack white people. I just tell people, man, if you got a right to defend yourself. It's not just your so-called American given right. It's your human right and your God-given right to
Right.
protect yourself.
I
And
feel you.
and
But that's facts, man. I wish I had ran into Dr. Muhammad's work when I was younger. It took me a while, but nah, it sounds like you're definitely on the right path, brother. That's where you want to go. That's the truth gangster.
I appreciate the Black History hit, man.
Yeah, sure do. He don't play. He don't play. He was the only American citizen to ever be censured by
By the
the U.S.
U.S.
Congress.
Congress,
Yup. So,
but
his work will always speak for itself. But he was a little, and this is my like critique of the Nation of Islam. It's just
they keep,
Malcolm.
yeah,
Malcolm was a little too pro-black when he said he didn't care about Kennedy's unaliving,
yep.
and that's when he had started his beef with Elijah Muhammad. They snipped him out.
And
And
same
then,
thing with Farrakhan.
right, wait, what? What's
It
that?
was like that with, and you know, history repeated
With,
itself
with
because
Muhammad?
when Khalid Muhammad said kill them all, Farrakhan turned against them.
Yeah.
And I, you know, and then I did deeper research, and when the Jews, you know, I don't want to say nothing
Yeah,
wrong.
be careful, because you said to K them all.
Did kill them all.
Unalive, delete.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I ain't trying to. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, to say KMR, Farrakhan just turned against the brother, and then to
Well,
make it worse,
he turned against him. His reasoning was, he said that because Khalid Muhammad told him, Khalid Muhammad told the audience in one of his speeches that they by the means of survival could be obtained, through any means. Like the ends of what you need to do to survive, go ahead and do it, even if it's against the law. And Islam teaches that men should never break the law. So
yep,
that was his reasoning behind it. And my thing is, if you go and snip out somebody every time they're a little bit too pro-black, what kind of pro-black organization is this?
exactly. How can you kick a man out of an organization for saying things you taught him how to say?
Right.
You know,
So, but that shows you where their loyalty lies. They're not a pro-black organization. They're a
Mods.
pro-black Muslim organization. So they still put that religion first. If they're still operating based off the rules of a book that was not written for specifically our liberation. So
yep,
there's going to be
yep.
clashes, and that's why I have a problem with them. I mean, not the only place I have a problem with them. We all know about Elijah Muhammad's past with those women, but we
Yep.
talk about that. Yeah.
Yep.
So
So, you know,
yeah,
and I guess, now it's like I tell people, I try to tell, people my age as much as I can, man. Like, come on, man. You gotta wake up, man.
yeah. They get it later on, brother. I'm telling you. One thing I noticed is they get it later on. After 30, something happened to us brothers. We really just open up and see the world the way it really is supposed to, like the way we supposed to see it. You are blessed if you could see it earlier on than that. I know my eyes got really awakened, after what happened with my father. That's a forced wake up call, because it's like you ain't no boy. It's like the world reminded, the universe telling you, the ancestors, like, yo, you ain't a boy no more. Like,
Yeah.
so that's something that could push some of us along. But yeah, they'll catch up eventually.
So yeah, and so it was the black. Yeah, now I want to touch on black men and women are not the problem. White patriarchy is, man. I don't get how people, for real. I don't get how people don't get this. Like I don't get it. I don't get it.
And they be up here arguing.
It's been that way for 600 years, and you think they changed? 600 years.
You're right. Yeah.
But people guilty. My problem is with people who try to defend that what that say what that topic is the truth is they one excuse they use is when you question it, and you catch them, they, oh man, you holding on to the past, man, it's better now, man, it's better now, man. It ain't better. We still, cops still out here killing us.
Yeah.
We
Well,
still mass
Delete.
incarceration.
Delete.
yeah, you gotta be careful. But you ever heard the term COON? I know you have, because Khalid be talking about them. COONs. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah,
All right. So
SALBOs.
the place where that comes from is on the shores of Africa. They would put our ancestors in cages. They'll call them cages barracoons. Barracoons. That's the name of the cages. So there would be people in them cages afraid of what was going to happen with the ship over the Atlantic Ocean. They didn't know what was going to happen in the New World. All right. They didn't have phones to tell them what America looked like, what it was going to be like, nothing. So people were afraid. And some of our ancestors would, well, I mean, I wouldn't claim them as ancestors, but some of the people that was locked up with them would say, everything's gonna be okay. You don't have to worry. It's gonna be freedom in America. It's the land of the free. We'll be okay.
Yep.
Don't worry about it.
All men are created equal.
Yeah, right. And so those people that were in denial of their oppression, we started calling them COONs
Yep.
because of Barracoon is where they would talk like that.
And they call them Uncle T's too.
Oh yeah, well that was because of a book. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
because of Uncle Tom's Cabin. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, and to me that's the biggest threat. More like, not, don't get me wrong, you know, we know what the big term, the final boss is, but right now the biggest threat is the seas. You know, the seas to me is the biggest threat, because the seas can get, like, okay, say if you finally get some resistance popping off, you get some people popping off, you know, they ready, they tired of what's going on. The seas, man, you know, they still want to be close to boss, man, you know what I'm saying?
But
And
here's the thing. Dr. John Henry Clark said the way to deal with them is to distance yourself from them immediately.
yep.
You can try to give them some knowledge, whether they receive it or not, that is up to them. But distance yourself immediately. We don't claim them as one of us. Let them go ahead and be about their day. We got to focus on us because, you know, we understand that the way that they think is inherent to this society. So, you know, our war is not with them. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? And that goes back to, you know, this last one right here, because those COONs are, some of them are brothers and some of them are sisters, but they're not our problem. They're not our enemy. The
Yeah.
enemy is the person that taught them to be COONs. The enemy
That's
is the
facts.
person that makes it beneficial for them to be COONs in this society. So we gotta, as brothers and sisters, we gotta remain
Yeah.
focused on the actual problem. Not the white patriarchy is, you know, part of the problem. White supremacy as a whole is the issue. So we
That's
gotta
right.
focus on that and just distance ourselves from them. You know.
Oh yeah, definitely, brother. I was
Yeah.
just talking about how, like, they'll send the ones, you know, to take out a leader or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yup.
Those the ones that really, you know, it's away at me, because you getting paid to do dog work, just to, like,
Yup.
what, get a medal, get paid, and then they don't know that sooner or later they're gonna say, "Oh, we don't need you no more."
Yup.
You know?
That's what they do. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for coming up and talking with us. I gotta go to the next guest.
Yes, sir. Anytime, brother. Listen.
Yeah, feel free to come back up
Yes,
and
sir.
talk to us more.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Peace.
Peace. One love. D. What's the score, D?
Got an A. Brother came out woke as heck.
Yeah, he came out.
He's
Yeah,
not young woke.
yeah, that's amazing, man.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, that's amazing. A brother that young talking like that, man. Talking about Khalid Muhammad at 20? That's crazy. All right,
That's
let's
my
go to the next guest. Digital Booth, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
okay. So my age is 35. In terms of pronouns, him or her and all those things, I don't really go by pronouns pretty much.
What's your race?
I would say Israel.
I'm sorry?
Well, I'm here based here in the Caribbean, so I'm Jamaican.
Okay, that's
So
not
black.
okay, black. All right, cool. Talk to us.
Right. So your first question is patriarchy has no gender. I think I disagree a bit, because I think in a sense that's like saying a lion, there's no lions with manes, right? So based on my understanding of the conversation when I just came into the room, patriarchy to me is something that does have a gender. It does have an identity. So I would say that patriarchy does have a gender. right? So especially when you look at patriarchy in the home, raising a family, growing children, nation building, passing on knowledge from one person to another. I think patriarchy definitely has a gender. Could it have an assigned gender? I believe so too, because if that is not in the home, I've seen instances where mom tries to take up the role of being the parent, in the sense of being the dad. So daddy is not there. She will try to teach her daughter or her son some of the things that dad might try to teach them. I mean, it's not done in a perfect way because mom is not a man. So I believe that there are certain things that women are not able to teach. In this case, maybe like men or young boys. Maybe they're good at teaching the girls what they need to teach them, but dad to me would be able to teach the boys certain things that they're supposed to know, and experience throughout life by telling them about their personal experiences.
All
So
right, wait, hold on. So you're saying, so when you say patriarchy, you mean men running the home?
yes, in general,
Okay.
not
So
just running the home, patriarchy in terms of nation building, community work, that type of thing. Because I mean, if you look at patriarchy is just in the home, right? Patriarchy could be on the streets.
so you're talking about patrilineal family structures, and then you're talking about patriarchy. When we talk about patriarchy, we mean a system of power which men are granted power and women are largely excluded from it.
Men are granted power and women are largely excluded from it.
Yes, excluded intentionally.
No, no, well, in that case, then no.
Okay.
Because I believe women should be included, not excluded.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I think you're using a more. I'm sorry. If I move my hands, it goes away. I don't know why.
No,
But
no, that's fine.
I think you're using a more idealistic approach at patriarchy than what we're talking about. We're talking more towards women being excluded from, for example, the pay gap. How
Right.
women are disenfranchised, women are
Right.
marginalized, specifically Black women. I'm not too worried about Master's wife, and then we talking about things like that. And so we say patriarchy has no gender. Specifically, we see it in dating. What certain people idealize in the opposite gender is usually based on a patriarchal standard or a role, a gender role.
Right.
That's patriarchal, meaning not just where men are leaders, but where women are intentionally made subordinate to men. So that's something that's mostly European. We could also argue that it's deeply rooted in Abrahamic religions. But yeah, it's not typically part of an African value system. But we could talk about that if you want.
Okay, got you. I see what you're saying. So in that case, women should not be marginalized, because they should be able to play a more equal or dominant role.
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay, well, in that case, I definitely agree.
Go ahead,
Can
D.
you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. Go ahead, D. What you say?
Right.
I was saying, do you think it's your background? You think it's because it's black and white and you got on
Maybe.
gray?
I can't change all that right now. Even if that was the case, I don't know. It's happened before. Yeah. But keep going, digital.
Right. So question number 2, a man's bank account doesn't determine his value. I personally don't believe so. I don't think so at all. And again, if we're talking along the lines of the same thing, I've seen cases where men without a huge bank account, and I would even use the word value, I would use the word impact. I think a man has a better impact even without a huge bank account. Because I've seen personally for me, I've lived in a community where the bigger impact comes from the older generation because I've garnered that knowledge from them over the years, right? And these guys don't have a huge bank account. A lot of them are poor. And to be honest with you, I think some of the deepest knowledge a person could get could be even from the guys on the streets, the sidewalks, sitting down, because they've lived so much, they've experienced so much, they've seen so much. So in that case, their bank accounts are maybe at negative, you know. And you have guys now in society who are educated, but as my dad would say, some of them could be educated fools. So you could have a huge bank account, but you don't use your money in the right and proper ways. You can also use it to the detriment of a people, right? So in that case, I would say I personally would go with the word impact. You have a huge impact even without a big bank balance, because I've seen cases of, you know, persons without a dollar giving me knowledge that could last me for a lifetime, change my life and even the life of other people. So I hope that answers that question. Question number 3 is, it is not a woman's job to raise grown men. I don't think so, because the term men right there, I mean, if they're grown, I think they're already raised, or we're hoping that they're already raised, because it could be a case where we're assuming that because they're grown, they're men.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Right.
Right. So because we see them with a little facial hair and whatnot, we're saying they're men and they're grown and they're responsible and they're this and they're that. And that's not necessarily the case.
Right.
Because if you're at home with your dad and you start growing a little facial hair on your face and you start talking down to your dad, the first thing he's going to say, oh, you think because you have a little hair on your chin, you're a man. And that does make you a man, because you haven't lived. You haven't experienced, you haven't paid any bills, you haven't struggled, you haven't this, you haven't that. So in that case, it definitely makes sense, right? So I think, going back to the question, the women's job to raise men, I think women's job is to raise kids. Hopefully those kids can one day matriculate into becoming great men. But in terms of raising men, I don't necessarily think so, because we're hopeful that they raise them from the stage of being children, from childhood to becoming well-rounded adults and well-rounded men. That's what we're hopeful for.
Yeah.
But again, I think a lot of right.
The reason I put that question up there was because in countering the conspiracy to destroy black boys, Dr. Juwanza Kunjufu talks about how black boys are routinely neglected in our society,
Right.
even within our own community. I'm sorry, this thing's driving me crazy. Even within our own community, black boys are neglected in childhood, and so neglect fosters arrested development. It creates the conditions to induce arrested development in young boys, so that when they grow up, like you said earlier, they look like men, but they're still children. So
Right.
they never fully get that. They never fully grow up. The saying goes in our community that a mother loves her daughters. Raise her daughters. A mother raises her daughters and loves her son, because
Right.
of the lack of men in the home. The aunties and the mothers and the sisters end up with what psychologists call emotional incest. Right? It's
Right.
emotional, not the actual act, but it's emotional, because they're replacing the missing man in the home with their son. So they raise their son to be someone that they would want to be in a relationship with, someone that they would look at as a lover.
Right.
A lot of the times you'll hear, don't be like your father, or they'll tell you you're acting like your dad when you act in a certain way. So
Right.
that's a thing. And yeah, it is sad, D, but at the same time, it is the responsibility of those men that walked away. And
Okay.
so that being the case, you know, some sisters in the dating field end up dating boys that look like men.
Exactly.
And those men, those boys, tend to think that it's the woman's job to be like their mother because they learned love through their mother who treated them like a husband. So
Right.
now the only way they know to connect with women is through motherhood, and so they think that their girlfriend or their fiance or significant other, even their wife, is supposed to treat them like a mother, and so that's the
Right.
problem.
Right. Got you. Perfect sense. Perfect sense to me. Let's see the next one. Black men, black women are not the problem. Why patriarchy is? I build. Well, you know what? I'm gonna say yes or no, because I mean, white patriarchy would be the system. So if that's a system that we were institutionalized under, leading us into what we would call a matrix or a lifestyle of living under a particular system, I mean, in that case, I get it that where white patriarchy would be the problem, but at the same time, if you're living in an age where you have information, you have access to knowledge, right? And you're learning more about this particular system and you're able to move or take yourself away from it. At that point, I think you've garnered a bit of power in a sense to where you can say, you know what, I don't want to be a part of this system. I want to live this way as opposed to that way because I understand what my so-called master did or my so-called master taught me, which is not the right way. And this over here is the right way. So if you have that knowledge, I think the onus is on you to actually use the knowledge you've garnered, right? It's not to sit all day and point fingers at master and what he did and what he didn't do. He did his part by putting you in the system. If you figured out a way how to get out of that system, maybe you can use that knowledge that you have to get other people out of the system and to maybe liberate persons from the actual system itself. So I think the problem is both the white patriarchy and also some of us as a black people as well. I think the problem is not just with them. I think the problem also lies with us because I think it's pointless if you have knowledge and you don't use it. Because
All right,
knowledge
so
is power. You get that power from the knowledge.
when we say white patriarchy is the problem, we don't mean white people.
You mean
If all black people in the world disappeared right now, white patriarchy would still exist. White supremacy would still reign. Not because of white people, but because of, like you said, some of us black people who have internalized that system because we weren't taught anything else. We weren't
Right.
taught anything from Africa. We weren't taught anything from our culture. Instead, when our ancestors walked off the plantation, they were taught their only option was to mimic the culture of the family structures that they had grown up around. Massive.
Right.
So that being the case, it is up to us, like you said, to deconstruct and unlearn that same patriarchy. But at the end of the day, I can't blame those who are subjected to that system for that system in the first place. You know, I understand that, you know, it's easy to point fingers at each other, but I think we need to point our attention towards the focus of the problem, which is the white patriarchy.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Because they created the problem to begin with, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. I agree.
All right.
All right. I
Coming
think
up.
that's it for me. Yeah, you're welcome, sir. Thanks for this program as well.
Absolutely. Appreciate you, brother.
All right.
What you give him?
See,
All right, I'll give him a C plus. He was working up here. All right, one love. We'll go to the next guest. Africa Debunked. Give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
How you doing, brother? I'm 30. I'm black. And him, he.
All right, talk to us.
Okay, there's so many things you spoke on that I have opinions on. I think first and foremost, I think the Oedipus complex. So as you know, with like emotional Like, I think that is something that I've seen in my real life, and I think it's unfortunately it's a consequence of like men in our multiple communities not taking responsibility, because with a lot of women, especially middle-aged women, who have had multiple bad experiences within our community with men, a lot of the time the man that's been there is their son. Like, the man that has the consistent person who's been there has been their son. So even though there's no romantic element to it, that's their man. And
Right.
they can't psychologically turn off the fact that they see that man, because he's the one who's been there
Right.
through the ups and the downs. And when their son grows up to young adulthood and another woman comes into the picture, they react the same way a woman would react when another woman comes to take their man. And
Right.
you see the kind of like outlandish reactions. And whilst it's understandable on a human level, that it continues the cycle of toxic kind of like backwards relationships, and like relationships that kind of tear away at community fabric. So
Right.
that's something I've seen in real life, and I think it's a problem that starts with black men, but it consumes the entire communities.
Right.
So yeah, it's something that I've definitely seen.
Yeah.
And you know what? One of the points you made that I think was very profound is that if all white people just disappeared, white supremacy would still reign. And I think that is really important, because I think we need to understand that like part of like changing the world is like decolonizing how we think. And one of the things that has been one of the examples that I've seen very recently that I'm being like, oh, like a lot of black people just don't get it, is like this Beyonce stuff. So I'm not sure if, brother, if you're familiar with Beyonce's movie, the Renaissance movie
Yeah.
of her tour has been is
It
gone
is.
global now. And
Yeah.
a lot of black people are saying, no, we're boycotting Beyonce because she is airing her movie in Israel. And I said,
Right.
huh? What kind of standard is that? I said, and my knee-jerk reaction was, whenever, ever has an Arab icon been boycotted by Arab people for not engaging in black issues? It's never happened. It's never, ever happened. And like, I've and like seeing how black people react to like the Israel-Palestine conflict is fascinating, because black people don't react like that towards our own issues. And it's, for me, the quiet part that people aren't saying is that a lot of black people believe that black people and Africans dying is part of the script. It's part of what's meant to happen. And when olive-skinned people in the Gaza Strip die, that's not meant to happen. That's not part of the script. These people almost look like Kim Kardashian. Why are they dying? They shouldn't be dying the way we die. And like, it's fascinating to see the reactions, because you can't get black people to mobilize like that for Congo. You can't get black people to mobilize like that for Sudan. And black people are like, it's not about race. It's not about, yes, it is about race, bro. Because Arab people do not galvanize themselves like that for any black issue across the board. And when I look at the history of Palestinians and black liberation, people act like it's solidarity. When you actually look into the history, it's not solidarity. What it is black people shucking and jiving for almost 100 years for people who are doing minimal in return.
Yeah.
So like when I look at black, it's when I went down the rabbit hole, I almost went crazy. I
Yeah.
said, what? We have almost 100 years of our best and brightest. Huey Newton, Nelson Mandela, Malcolm X, so many black institutions have an official position on Palestine. Like from the Black Panthers to the Nation of Islam to the African Union. The last African Union ended its address by addressing Palestine. Like Mark Lamont Hill, one of the most famous black men in the country, lost his job at an international multi-million-dollar platform speaking out for Palestinians. That would never happen in return. That would never, ever happen. It's so insane. It's so insane how we shuck and jive for other people that don't do it for us. That's not solidarity. It's not. And like when I look at like, it's so insane. When I look at like what is and like when people say, yeah, what have like Palestinians done in return? they show you murals, and I'm like that's great and stuff, but like your murals is not the same as the African Union having a position on Palestine. Your murals is not the same as Mark Lamont Hill going to the UN to speak for Palestine. It's not the same as Nelson Mandela having a. It's so crazy that if you look at like the countries that do not officially have any diplomatic relations with Israel, like a dozen African countries don't have any diplomatic relations with Israel, point blank, period.
Yeah.
For Palestine. There's nothing like that is in reverse. When you ask them, what is Hamas's official position on black liberation? Nothing. What is the PLO's official position on black liberation? Nothing. What was Yasser Arafat's official position on black liberation? Nothing. Like, it's insanity. It's such insanity. And like, when you look at like black people, like, but it shows, it's exactly what you said. If all white people disappeared, white supremacy would still reign. Because a lot of us black people, when we look at ourselves, we don't see the same value in ourselves as in Africa and in black issues as we do with like other issues. So it's so crazy. It's so crazy. And I just wanted to get that off my chest, brother.
Yeah, hey,
like,
man, you had to get that off. Yeah, absolutely, I'm with you on that. That is facts, man. You taught me a few things just now. I mean, I knew the stuff that you were saying. It's just the way that you were able to dish it out just now, just like clicked in my head differently, man. That's facts, brother. Absolutely.
Yeah. Honestly, but it is fascinating because, as you said, man, a lot of our people, deep down, they don't see their lives as important as other people. And yeah, you can. It's like, yeah, the way I've seen black people organize for Palestine,
Yeah.
and like. And they'll tell you it's not about race, it's not about race. And then you go onto their page and then there's like 12 posts about Palestine consistently. And you tell them, why have you never posted about any black issue like this? And they're just like, it's not about race, it's not about... And like, it's insanity to me.
What is good and bad, what's good and bad to the master becomes good and bad to the slave, man. Like they're using their what's important, I would say, rather than good and bad. What's important to the master becomes important to us. Right now, the media, Western media, has made such a big fuss of Israel and all this other stuff. And some of them feel revolutionary just by having this hot take that actually isn't such a hot take. This is a take that, is anti-colonialist. We are in love with our oppression. That's the problem. So we're in love with the fact that, this is something that is oppressing us as well, except I don't think we should take a pro-Palestine stance. I think more of us need to take an anti-Israel or an anti-colonial stance.
That's exactly my position. I'm more anti-Israel than I am pro-Palestine.
If you want to be anti-Israel, focus on the Congo and what Israel is doing in the Congo. If you want to be anti-Israel, it's easy. Focus on what Israel has done to Haiti. Look that relationship up. I'm learning about that starting today. Earlier today, I was reading on that. A lot of the weapons that were used against Haitians that unalived 30 to 60,000 of them back in like 1967, was by the Israeli government. And there's documentation proving that they won't release to this day because they said that they were using derogatory terms for black people and it would embarrass the Israeli state. So if you want to dismantle colonialism, cool, but you don't have to use black people's oppression as a rallying cry or some way to get us roped into a conflict that doesn't benefit us specifically, especially in a country that is also anti-black. Arab people have always been anti-black. I don't know why we're picking
100%.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me, man. And sometimes when you're seeing all of this kind of thing, it's good to have these chats because it reminds you of your sanity, that some people are connecting the dots, that like some people can put things in historical context. Because it's insane to see how like our people react to some of these things. And as you said, the things that are important to the master are unfortunately a lot of it is important to us. And just in regards to the questions that you had up, One of the interesting ones was like this idea that like patri- that like the whole like patriarchy has no gender. Do you know what? A lot of the issues with patriarchy is the white patriarchy that we see today, and the white patriarchy that we see today is a descendant of the European patriarchy that existed 1,500 years ago. And if you actually look at most Western European societies, women were functionally marriage cattle. They didn't have rights. They didn't have any set political say. They didn't have any. They weren't involved in the political process. They were essentially marriage cattle for their fathers and their families to barter off with other families. That was it.
Yeah.
And it is completely different when you look into like Western Africa or Central Africa or African people in general. Like, because we have completely different kinds of societies. So if you look at West Africa, where I'm from, like, women have always been involved in the political process. We have women forums. And where I'm from, they have Umuada, which is essentially the women's forum. And like the Umuada is there to look out for women's interests and are part of the policy setting like bodies of each village. Like, these things have existed in our communities. And when I asked my mum was like, yeah, in my village where we grew up, like the generation above me, the Umuada were part and parcel in stopping domestic violence that had gotten out of hand in the generation before. And like the women were able to band together and they beat some of they humiliated the men in the community that were committing severe domestic violence.
Yeah,
Like,
we did that here. We did that in America too at one point. Before this woman helped dismantle our system that was doing that. She
100%.
worked
And
with the CIA. This is Gloria Steinem.
oh
She's
yeah,
actually paid
I
by the
know this lady.
CIA to
But
dismantle the Black Panthers. But
it's
continue.
it's even interesting that like when some black feminists are speaking on like, oh, women never had this, women never had that. It's very interesting that they centralize the experiences of white women when our lineal history, that's not our history. So when you
Right.
said like, oh, we never had the right to work, black people, women have always been working. Oh, we never had the right to vote. No, it's the white man that stopped you from voting. Where you're from, you were always part of the political process. So like, it's very interesting. Like when some of our black feminist sisters are talking about like the experience of women, they're kind of channeling the experience of white women as opposed to the unique experiences of black women, like throughout the world. And it's fascinating because like within African societies, it was never the Africans. There's never African people that stopped you from being part of the political process. You were part of the political process. It was you getting to America and none of us having rights, and then black men getting rights, and then black women getting rights subsequently. That's what happened. Like, and it wasn't black men keeping you from voting.
And
It
it
was the
wasn't
white
black
man.
men that chose to wake up one day and had rights. It was the white
Exactly.
patriarchal system that chose to quote unquote grant us rights in that scenario.
I'm happy that you said quote unquote because really and truly,
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but
yeah, because you know that, yeah,
but the
those.
reason I put the quotes is because they do like to make it seem like in America that that Abraham Lincoln, for example, emancipated us when really he didn't. We emancipated ourselves. Shout out to my Haitian brothers and sisters. If it wasn't for the revolution and the revolts going on throughout the diaspora within the Americas and the Caribbean, um, Abraham Lincoln's hand would not have been forced to quote unquote emancipate us. But we emancipated ourselves. He just signed a document so that he would make it feel like they chose to do it themselves so that we didn't feel like revolution would work in the future. He didn't want us to believe revolution would work. So he said it'll be easier if I make it look like we chose to give it to them instead of they came and took it.
Of course, that's what happened. And I think that's the myths that a lot of us have been taught, that once upon a time white men woke up and they were progressive and that they decided to free everybody.
Yeah.
And that's not what happened. What happened is that slavery had become untenable. Like, slavery had become untenable because they saw what happened in Haiti. They saw what was happening with the Nat Turner Rebellion. They saw what was happening with the Christmas Day Rebellion in Jamaica. And they saw like that the slave rebellions were getting more organized, larger, and more violent. And like, it's not a coincidence that you had the Christmas Day rebellions, and then within a year, Britain like passed the first the Emancipation of Slaves Act. That's not a coincidence. And it's fascinating, especially like when one of the things is that white supremacy has not moved on. They have all the same beliefs as their forefathers did. And one of the interesting things is just like when they ended the slave trade, like if this was a moral position where they said, you know what, we fucked up, we did some fucked up shit. Sorry, we did some effed up shit, and like, you know what, now we're gonna move forward and we're gonna do better. They wouldn't have, these same people wouldn't have doubled back within 10 years. Within 10 years, they doubled back and started the colonialization process. Right. That's not people that are sorry. And like, it's fascinating. Like when people say like, what happened during the slave trade, and like, for me, my understanding of the slave trade is like, this was all a long game that ended in colonialism. And for me, like my understanding of the slave trade is that why did slavery happen? Why did so many African kingdoms sell like other Africans into slavery? And my position is that this is because there was an artificial arms race. There was an artificial arms race within Africa that made like, so for effectively, if there's a market and I introduce guns to that market, all it takes to destabilize an entire region is for one group to start buying guns from me. Because once one group starts buying guns from me, nobody else is safe. Because once one group has guns, everybody else's safety is reliant on that one group with guns, their goodwill. Because they can come and take your stuff.
Africa, you can't keep saying the GUN word.
Oh, sorry, my bad, bro. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So once you get your once you get your means of destruction, once like one group has their means of destruction, everybody else's safety is now reliant on that group's goodwill, because they can come and take your stuff, they can come and take your women, they can come and take your children, they can come and burn, like because they have the means of destruction, like that. And I think once you understand that dynamic of like, no, the introduction of arms created an arms race within Africa that meant that nobody had any choice, because all I have to do is come to whisper to you, say, hey man, I know you guys historically have problems with each other, and I'm not saying that anything's gonna happen, but they've got guns now. Yeah. And I can give you guns, but I'm gonna need some. I can give you those arms, but I'm gonna need something for it, and you don't even like him really. So like, yeah, that's what happened. That is what happened all over Africa. Is that an arms race fueled that made everybody's safety reliant on the acquisition of one item, and the only people with that item only wanted one thing for that item. So like, I think it's really important to read into history, and like when you understand like what happened, you're like, oh, everything makes sense. Yeah, and I think my final point is that like, one of my largest frustration with like white supremacy is that it's not moved forward, and a lot of black people, in order for us to survive, like to not malfunction in this crazy world we live in, we have to believe that people are better than their forefathers, but they're not. They're not. And like, it's fundamentally these three factors. Number one, like, they've not even said they're not trying to pay reparations to us. Like, if I'm being honest, they're not trying to pay reparations to us. Whether it's the US or France or Canada or Australia or the UK, none of them are trying to pay reparations to us. And okay, you don't want to pay money, okay. But not only will they not pay reparations, they won't even say they're sorry. None of these countries want to give any of us an official apology. And like, so they won't pay reparations. They won't even say they're sorry. And the final bit is, not only would they not say they're sorry, is that they're banning the theoretical frameworks to stop the next generation from doing better. So they're banning CRT. They're banning academic frameworks that allow people to truly analyze the systemic nature of their anti-blackness in order for the next generations to do better. This is a system that has not evolved one bit in 100 years. So I think as people, man, I'm sorry, it's a dark reality we have to live in, but you can't bury your head in the sand.
Yeah, that's facts. That's facts, brother. You preaching it. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
man.
exactly what's going on. That's why we gotta mind when people say that we were emancipated. We understand that none but ourselves can free our mind, and yeah, I actually I think that's what multiple scholars have said about the slave trade starting in Africa. That's what that's what it was pretty much is sell us your neighbors or we'll give them bang bangs. You know what I'm saying? Sell us your neighbors or we'll give them the means to destroy you. Which would you rather do? Sell us to them or we'll give them the means to sell you to us? Which like it's going to go one way or the other. And it's documented that that's what happened. And you know, we also know that the environment of Africa being so diverse also multiplied that arms race many times over because there were brothers and sisters living next door to each other that didn't see themselves as family. So, of course, it's a lot easier if someone says, sell us your neighbor or we'll give them pum pums, and y'all have already been at odds with each other and don't see each other as one people. So, you know, that's the history, that's the nuance there. So I encourage many brothers and sisters in America to do your research. John Henry Clark speaks on this frequently. We don't fall into that narrative that white tea folks told us, where they say Africans sold other Africans. That is untrue. All right, y'all. We're gonna go to the next guest. Thanks, Africa Debunked, for coming up. Richie, could you give us your age, race, and pronoun?
32, Black Haitian descent. Um, Pronoun him, sir, Mister.
All right, talk to us.
Yeah, man. I've been listening, man. The brother did drop a lot of bombs. It's kind of like hard to catch up. But let me piggyback on some of the things he was saying. But before I do that, let me answer the questions. Patriarchy has no gender. Yeah, I mean, it has no gender, but it does belong to both of the gender of the white tea community. If we're
Mm-hmm.
talking about America, moving on to the next question: is a man's bank account doesn't determine his value? Absolutely not, because he could be broke today and filthy rich tomorrow. And if he's a good person, that's gonna show whether or not he's that good person when he's broke and when he's wealthy. I think money only reflect who you are. It doesn't make you who you are.
Mm.
Um, Moving on to the next question. It is not women's job to raise a man. I agree with the brother that came up and said it's a woman's job to raise a child. Well, once he gets to being a man, you gotta hand him over to his dada.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, moving on to the next one. Black man, black woman are not the problem. White tea patriarchy is we know what's up. Um, yeah. So moving on to what the brother was talking about, man, across the world, I believe that a lot of these things as well is really our problem to solve because I don't think you can tell your oppressor or somebody who is the aggressor to fix the problem when they're the aggressor. I believe as a Haitian descent, we set the examples already for not only how to get your freedom, but how to keep it and how to make an example of what it is to not just revolt, but successfully, you know, revolt, successfully carry on a revolution. Um, I feel like we have way more knowledge, experience, history than our ancestors did. Um, we have way more assets. We can create more just by with us being numbers. Like I feel like a lot of the things that we're dealing with right now, man, is really a distraction and us not having a clear, direct plan, a plan of action that nobody needs to be talking about. We just know what to do. You get what I'm saying? Because a lot of times we do a lot of talking and we waste a lot of times, which is something our ancestors did not have the privilege of. They didn't have a lot of time to do what they did. Like, you know what I mean? They had to decide and quickly, you know, act because they know time was very, you know what I mean? It was very like something that if they didn't move on certain time and carry on certain things, like specifically at a certain moment, certain things would not have taken place and it would not have been successful. And I feel like we got to keep that in mind in whatever we are doing for us. And it doesn't matter where we at. Another thing I think my black people in America need to do is form an alliance with Haiti because there is no other, you don't really have any like country you could just go to if it was to be a case where you needed to leave America for good, which is a case, but we're not paying attention to it like a case. But I feel like Haiti is the only place, I believe I said this on this platform before, that on our constitution it is written that if you are a black person, you can come to Haiti and seek refuge, and you will be a free man or woman if you're black. Only if you're black. So, with that being said, I believe it is a necessity for my black brothers and sisters to get some type of dual citizenship with Haiti, even though you don't necessarily have to do the paperwork, but just keep in mind that worst case scenario, if you had somewhere to run or go to our country because that's your home. Anywhere else is obviously not accepting you because it is not written in the Constitution, which is the law of the land, the things that our forefathers fought for, so we could take advantage and have today. I believe in a very short period of time we can accomplish a lot, but we gotta be focused. We gotta be effective with what we're doing, and we gotta be on point, and we can't waste time. That's all I gotta say, my brother. But
Right.
Haiti in the building. Shout out to all my Pan Africans. Shout out to you, my brother.
Absolutely.
Thank you for doing what you do, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Pan Africanism. Thank you, Stella, for the hearts. Appreciate you. Shout out to all the Haitian brothers and sisters. I think he's right. Even Malcolm X said that the Caribbean is our strategic stronghold as a people. The Caribbean is our strategic stronghold, meaning that's where the revolution would probably be best to have our base, to be honest. Here, appreciate y'all. Thanks for helping me get the live goal today. Thank you very much. Me, myself, and I appreciate you. But yeah, so Haiti could be our stronghold. That could be where we start out at. Like just with everything that's going on there now, it would be beautiful to see more African Americans specifically. I'm talking to us, y'all, specifically, if we could show more support and solidarity with our Haitian cousins when it comes to liberating ourselves here in America. That America will be shook. America start treating us different if we were to help liberate Haiti. America be shook.
P.S. brother. Let me add this one thing though. Another reason why it is important that we do so is because Haiti is sitting on something that every part of the world is fighting for, and we
Right.
know what it is. I ain't
Yeah.
gotta say it,
Mountain.
and we sitting on it, mountains of it. Okay,
Mhm.
so we are a target to the world in a way. They look at us like, yeah, we need that. Like that movie Avatar, or they
Yup.
need that.
Yeah, and that's why they treat y'all. That's why they treat the Haitians like the Congo, because the same thing going on in the Congo. is going on in Haiti. They got resources, and for some reason, the government
Accurate.
is just so unstable in places where there's black people and they need the resources. For some reason, it just happens to also be unstable governments and things keep happening. You know, they found the people that unalived their president wasn't even from Haiti. They were like from Mexico, and they were G-men from what was it, Venezuela or something, I forgot. But you know what I'm saying? Like the US government is known for sending people in from other countries to come handle your leaders. And I just think it's wild. I think, they playing in our face. And I do encourage brothers and sisters to look more into Haiti and what's going on there. And I think, yeah, as far as the Western Hemisphere, Haiti is our Africa. So that's where we need to focus.
Well said, brother. Well,
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate you coming up. I'm gonna go to the next guest. Bree, give us your age, race, and pronouns.
Yeah, I'm 31, black, and they, them. Patriarchy definitely has no gender because white women, especially white women who are smarter than white men or white men, have used it like for the Sisters of the Confederacy to push their agendas. I mean, like, I live in LA. You look at LA, there we were a striving community of black people. Crenshaw was all black owned businesses, and it was decimated. It was just decimated. And I mean, like, I grew up in it. I saw it. I witnessed it. Um, and you look at back at the 90s and how many pro-black and just black shows of all black people, not typecast or given some personality they believe that we have, just cool shows. um I truly believe that has to do with the patriarchal power that white women get from being constantly idolized and thought of as these lily perfect, creatures that they've pushed that on us and pushed that on. I mean, you look at so many, it breaks my heart, so many women, even all over the world, like in Jamaica, black women of beautiful melanation bleaching their skin just because they've so woven into the world that light white is pretty, and it's just crazy. It's insane. And go backwards in the idea that there were more shows, Sister, Martin, where you could just watch your own people and have representation, to now it's like a token black character here and there. And but it's it's through feeling threatened. White women feel threatened of black women, their beauty, what their essence, what they bring to the table when it comes to cultural, when it comes to a queen's history, just all of it. And you know that. But it's crazy to me because I feel like a lot of white women hide in a very like wolf skin way, that, not to say white men are racist, of course, but that they kind of like push it on white men like, oh, they're the racist ones. But I mean, I had mentioned Susan B. Anthony the last time I was up here. I mean, she was the one who wanted to get rights because black men were advocating for rights whenever um Planned Parenthood was just open to, get rid of black children. White women have always had a huge foothold in getting rid of black women because of the jealousy and the animosity towards us. So definitely, I don't think patriarchy has a gender. A man's bank account doesn't determine his value. I 100% agree with that. The love of my life was the person that had the least money, but the value of his mind and what he knew intellectually, spiritually, mentally, the way that we connected, actually still, we're still technically together. He just is in Los Angeles County lockup for ridiculous reasons. But I don't think that, and I hear this all the time on TikTok, that like, oh, women just want security, women just want security, women just looking for a man with money. And like, I guess maybe it's like how I was raised. My grandma worked till she was 91 years old. I've always come from a situation of black women that were hard workers and black men who were hard workers. So it was a team situation. I know the history of this country and many other black countries, and working together is just an extremely integral part of our culture. And saying that, and that idea that like, oh, because like, I mean, even if you look at like America, who raised white children in America? Black women who take care of the household, and made sure that everything ran. White women just kind of sat there like a picture, just you just collecting dust. Um, and I think that it's just sad that in this generation that we've been taught to believe that nuclear families are the ideal family. Like, you love your man. I don't care. And I also think that, like, I come up here and it kind of was off topic the last time, but like, I'm a very career based person. I love what I do. I'm a chef. I've been doing it for 12 years. I want to do it until I can't anymore. And just a man's paycheck has never meant anything to me, and it's just insulting to me as a person, that and I feel like it's insulting to women who don't need a man but want a man. We want to love you. We want you to be in our lives. We appreciate the things you say and want to hear about your day. Like, that can never compare to, in my eyes, a relationship where, oh, here, give me some money. Okay, well, we meet when we're doing physical stuff, or if we're going out to do something, and then there's really no connection there. Um, why, black men and white women are not the problem. White patriarchy is, yes. And I think that I hear this all the time, and it really is crazy to me that, like, if you actually know anything about Africa, about the settlements that came out of Africa, they were not patriarchal. Like, from a set to who's now ISIS, Ishtar, even when you get into other civilizations, are like matriarchies and just dual sexual identities, in from healers to people of great prominence, to people that just that were teachers. It just was not gender based. It was based on what you could do. Like if you had an affinity for medicine, you would be a medicine person. It really makes no sense to force somebody, especially that's not good at something, to do it because they are a man or a woman. And I think that a lot of the unhappiness today in our community and just all communities together is because YT people have spread this idea that like you do this because you're a man or a woman, and there's a lot of people who are not expressing the voice of their soul to be able to go out and do what their passion drives them to do. So, and I definitely think that patriarchy has a huge part in that, because there are painters, there are philosophers, there are doctors, there are so many people that could change the world, and they're not in that position because they have been raised to believe that because of their parts, they play a certain role in society. And that's it. That's a shame.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing all that. D, did you want to say something?
Holy Spirit, activate, activate, activate. Holy Spirit, activate. Hello, hello, and welcome. You are in Brother Legends Live. Again, you guys, you are in Brother Legends Live. I need you to tap that screen. Tap, 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 tap it the hell up. Share the live with your friends, your frenemies, and your enemies. Go ahead and subscribe to Brother Legends Live. Make sure you subscribe as well on YouTube. And make sure we get to 100K. Leisha says we need that 100K. Tap that screen. You guys, make sure you're gifting Brother Legend. He deserves the coin. The energy, the effort, and the time put into this space is very much dedicated and contribute to you guys. So make sure that you're rewarding those efforts and energy. At the end of the day, you guys, make sure that you add yourselves to the Discord. Be One Initiative. And also, can we get y'all to tap the damn screen? And it never hurt to send the pause. Hello? Goodbye.
Appreciate you, D. All right. Well, thanks again, Sister Bree. I'll go to the next guest, see if anybody has something new to add. Rye, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please?
Hi, I'm Rye. I'm black. I'm 21, and my pronouns are whatever, as long as you know I'm really pretty and really smart.
All right. Talk to us.
Um, Especially as like a trans person, as like while I say my pronouns or whatever, like I see myself as a woman, and like what other people see me as is not inconsequential, really. But like as a black man, I've experienced this very specific set of the patriarchy. I've always been very tall and very large. That's kind of scary. I've also been as gay as the day is long my whole life. And I learned at a very young age that around white women especially, I can weaponize my femininity to be more comfortable. I can weaponize my femininity to make them see me as safer. I'll be the fun little gay child in class, not the loud, scary black man. And I learned very quickly that, like, patriarchy is a system that is leveraged against anyone who doesn't fit the white male standard. And while, like, that is even more acceptable for white women, they have their own specific effects. There is no man of any cultural difference, be it racial, cultural, like immigration, unless it's from a Western nation, that will have that idea of the world because it is not ingrained in their culture. I think how we create conflict has so much to do with culture. But in that, I think that like in white cultures especially, this idea of like why men are first is exactly why men are put second in any indigenous cultures. It comes from this idea that like men can support, men are there to protect, men can't really create. Women create life, women create space, women create community. It is why when men create community, they are seen as more feminine. When they do things that supporting their community, it is this queer thing to do, both in like gayness and weirdness. And I think that like when you think about that and how that matriculates into any other cultural norm that is not white men, even white women, I think that you quickly see that like the patriarchy is such an extension of like white male supremacy that just becomes a little more palatable. And even describing it as this patriarchy and like putting it as this only men and women thing when there's so much in between and there's so many other intersectional factors, like is within of itself this weird byproduct of, in my opinion, white feminism to say that like, oh no, this isn't white supremacy because it's against us. I still think it's that byproduct because white men still control white supremacy and y'all just support it and then like groan about it amongst yourselves sometimes. And I think that like that is the harsh reality of like the fact. Like you did not create community like that, and because you wield so much power across the world and are the most powerful settler colonial nation in this very underhanded way in both Britain and America, you see that like we have no choice but to accept that standard even in places where it does not make sense. If that made any sense. Sorry, I droned on for that one for a bit.
Hey, you ain't told one lie. That, like what you just said, shows me that you have done a lot of self-reflection and a lot of studying to get to some of the conclusion that you just said. When you said weaponizing your femininity, that is something that I have spoke on, and it's really a very nuanced topic. This is
Extremely, yes.
something that Dr. Frances Cress Welsing speaks on, and
Yes.
she gets some pushback, but I found few brothers, sisters, cousins, family members, whatever you want to call them, members of our community that that do identify as trans or what have you, gender non-conforming, and they have been able to take what she's saying and apply it correctly. It can also, when viewed, when misconstrued, can come off the wrong way, if you know what I'm saying.
Yes, exactly. I know exactly. It can be, even if it's not about a right or wrong, it is about perception and like how that creates other like stereotypes. Like it is
Exactly.
sad that that is the like the reality that we exist within, but you do sometimes have to consider it. While some places that consideration isn't necessarily like, girl, you can wear your bonnet out the house. Everybody will live.
Yeah.
But like there are places where you do have to think a little bit more. And that's
Right.
sad. And I hate to say it, but it is true and harsh. I wasn't
That
going to
is
say something different.
that is a deep nuance, and I'm glad to hear you say that. That shows me that he on our side, y'all. He know exactly what's going on. And that's amazing. That's something I would like to talk about, mostly with brothers. Mostly with brothers. I think a lot of us have used Dr. Frances Cress Welsing's work incorrectly
Yes.
when she talks on that, because you cannot bring your anti-blackness to Afrocentrism. When you mix the two, you end up confused and stomping on your own feet. And so that's the thing. But yeah, as a black man over 6'4" myself, I've seen it myself. I get, I understand how you can be vilified and looked at as a threat when like me, for example, is when I'm working out. Like I haven't worked out in a while, but I gain muscle really fast when I'm working out, and I'm maybe kind of looking like a gym bro or something. Like I get different looks than when I'm wearing like my pink shirt, and maybe I'll have on some flip flops or something. I don't look as threatening. Maybe or one time I even don't tell nobody this, but I dyed my locks blonde. I was just trying something new, all right? But
Gotta
anyway,
try different stuff.
you know what I'm saying? I look and I had my hair, the side shaved off. I had this trimmed down. There's different ways where we can look less threatening, and you can notice that. And that intersectionality is one of the ways. Last thing I will say is who speaks on this? Little Richard. Little Richard, he has a documentary out. My wife was watching it the other day, and even he spoke on how he was accepted by certain white audiences, particularly in front of white women, because he could get away with things that James Brown couldn't, because
Yes.
they didn't see him as much of a threat as they would see James Brown, who was, of course, and it's funny because James Brown's very flamboyant himself, but it was a hyper masculine type of atmosphere that he created, and so they would see him as a threat more than they would see Little Richard. So that is something, but it, like I say all the time, there is no hierarchy of oppression, and that's where brothers get it twisted. But yeah, I appreciate you bringing that out. Wow, that's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming up. You're always welcome to come up here, because every time you come up here, I learn something. It's amazing. Kay, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please?
Yes. My age is 24. My race is black biracial, and my pronouns are she, her.
Absolutely. All right. Talk to us.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say you're gonna make me follow up with what I had to say, cause dang, that's a mic
Hey
drop
man,
though.
hey man.
I ain't
Tongue
even
in
gonna
the
lie.
cheek. I ain't gonna front. That's
Yeah,
yeah.
Every
definitely
That's
time
break
cooked.
it down.
Ra
That's very
comes, it's a cook session. Every time.
every
Definitely
time.
cooked.
Every
Definitely
time.
cooked here.
Because Rye speaks with such nuance. Like it's the nuance, you gotta catch it. You know what I'm saying? That's amazing. Go
Yeah.
ahead, Ken. What's going on?
No, I mean that was good. I mean, to
Yeah.
even further add on it, it reminds me of when I had took some classes when I was in high school, and I took it upon myself a little bit further, and I looked at Elijah Anderson, and he spoke about the ability or some people's lack of ability to have spatial awareness based on race, and it was basically being a black man in a lot of YT spaces and the impossibility of wholeheartedly 100% perpetuating that they are not a threat, so far as to saying they have to whistle when they are in the accompaniment of their counterpart, because the whistling would put them at ease to know, all right, well, this is like a Peter Rabbit type of deal. So you know and
I
it
think I've
just
done
makes
that.
me sad. Yeah, like you don't even think about it
Yeah,
subconsciously. You
yeah,
just and it's like just that overtone again of the racial spatial awareness that is just sad, that you have to be hyper vigilant to the point where it affects your life. You have to think when you go out, how am I looking, where am I at, and they're
right,
trying to, a lot of times it's sad, like we have to define our existence, because if we're somewhere and we look too nice, then they're trying to question as to, how are you here? How do you belong here? Are you some type of artist? Do you do this and that? And even then, they're trying to jump to the conclusion of why they validate your presence in their space. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right,
they're trying to compartmentalize, where are you located? Are you on this scale? Are you on this scale? Like, and I'm not trying to say it knocks us down a peg or two, but they use things like, again, like your gender identity and, the status of what you look like to define who they think you are and where you belong, because
right.
10 times out of 10 it ain't with them. But I mean, it's just really sad, because I'm like, it really goes to this extent, consciously and subconsciously. Like I said, when we're getting to the point where we're just trying to make noise to make them feel like, yeah, I'm not a threat, I'm not trying to walk up on you, I'm not trying to steal your purse. Like, it's just sad, it's really sad.
That's
um
fine.
you know but to agree to with the questions, like, patriarchy has no gender. Obviously, like, we see the psychological warfare that's been done to our brothers and sisters through the forefathers and ancestors of America, especially the YT women. I like, as much as they don't admit, the YT woman victimization is insane to me. I can see a woman like Mary Kay Letourneau trying to pin the sexually deviant nature of her own choices on a young boy, like I said, and they just came out with another movie like that. I'm like, this is just weird. It's
Yeah,
just weird, and then to present it from the perspective of that person to make you give them humanity, it's just strange to me. It's like an obsession, because like I said, the psychological warfare, they used to that. So obviously it has no gender, and then a man's bank account doesn't determine his value. It don't around here, but if you were in the patriarchy, it does. Because again, they say, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that. This is the job you have to maintain and provide. But in our community, they've taken those resources away. We no longer have trades located in our communities. There's no, foundation to build. So it's like, this is what makes you a man, but we're going to take these resources away. So, I feel like we are dealing with the onset of a lot of the psychological warfare that happened to us, because when things happen to you, you don't really realize the abuse and the torment you went through until after the fact, right? Like, I don't want to say it's like Stockholm syndrome, but it almost is, because we're empathizing with our oppressor a lot of the times, and we don't realize that generations only a few ago, they were just now getting out of it. That's why I think things were a bit better, as soon as people started to get out of slavery. But like now we're seeing the real onset effects of our disillusion, our disconnection, and our anti-blackness. Because look at us sympathizing. Look at us commingling. Look at us trying to cohabitate when cohabitate has peace in it by definition, but we're not seeing any of that. Not even a peace. So, it's really ingrained, and it's just really sad, And also on the part of saying that, it's not a woman's job to raise a grown man, because that is true. I'm like, the men on our counterparts, they gotta, take accountability just as us women got to, because it's not my responsibility to raise you, but it's my responsibility to put on my big girl pants and be like, all right, where do we go from here? Because it's nowhere to elevate. We already, I mean, I'm not saying we at the bottom, but I'm like, we got to go up from here. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to take accountability so I can take accountability, and we can go about it together. Yeah, I can't tell you what to do, but if you don't want to get with the program, you're a detriment to us. So, might have to leave you behind. And I hate to say it that way, but they left a lot of people behind. So, like, hey, we gotta get past this. And then black men and black women, we are not the problem. We definitely are not. That's why, again, I said, I want to give us a bit more grace to be able to take accountability. But at some point, we got to stop picking and choosing the patriarchal pieces we want to put together. You feel me? We can't do it. We can't do it. And that's with the alliteration. Put all the P's down. No more PPP loans. Stop it. Stop it. I'm like, we got to stop taking the cheese and ending up at the bottom of the jar, because then we can't get out. It's literally a trap. Like, I looked at the information for different things in the community. Like, we did a research report in my city to see why the groceries were more high priced in certain neighborhoods than in others, and we also looked at the information that you need to get things like Section 8 and housing. And the craziest thing I saw was that if you are trying to elevate in your life, they will not give you assistance. Like, you must be in a cycle of perpetual poverty for them to help you. They were saying that, because we got to interview some of the social workers and things, and they were saying that, yeah, if you go to school, you can't get it. You can't get it. They said if you go to school, you can't get it. The only stipulation is, oh, if you going to school and you got kids, you must have kids. And I said, what? I said, if they're coming to you for Section 8 just to get housing to afford to live, why would they have kids and still trying to go to school? Like, I don't want to say it's impossible, but it's very hard statistically for us in the black community to do this while working and maintaining that, even with a 2-parent household. I said, it's insane to me. Like, the bills cost more if you're poor. It's more expensive to be poor. And the statistical bottom line is black people are always on the top of that list on the negatives, every single one. And I'm like, all of my other racial counterparts have even just a slight advantage over me. And it's crazy because we've been here longer. We've built this place from the ground up, but yet we can't even have a pot to piss in or to throw it out of. It's sad. But yeah, no, I just want to say, thank you though. I appreciate that. I'm gonna keep listening.
Always, always.
Okay,
Appreciate
don't
you.
drop the bomb.
Yeah. Yeah, I got some heavy hitters in here today. Let's go to the next guest. Y'all keep tapping like. Where we at? 95. We almost at 100K, y'all. Thank you for helping us reach the goal, the gift goal. Keep tapping like. Let the algorithm know that we're providing some value to y'all. This is meant to be a productive conversation. as best I can host it, I will. We're not up here to, argue and fuss and fight with each other. We want to show solidarity to all our brothers and sisters worldwide. Please feel free to put hashtag free Congo under any of my videos. Put it in the comments. Hashtag free Haiti as well. Canala Pop Campe. If you're black, we got your back. Much love to the Pan Africans in here that have done the work to dismantle not only their internalized racist ideology that was taught to us inherently in this society we grow up in to be anti-black, but also those that have done the work to dismantle patriarchy. I feel that today's live has been very productive, and I want to keep it rolling. I do love how many brothers came up here today. I want to talk about patriarchy with men. Cishet, straight men. I want to talk about patriarchy with us. I want to see what y'all have been reading, what y'all have been unpacking. I appreciate the sisters coming and chiming in as well. As always, y'all are always welcome in this space. However, I'm also surprised in a good way of how many brothers decided to come up here, and we didn't get too much mayonnaise. So shout out to the brothers today. Shout out to the brothers. But yeah, patriarchy got to go along with white supremacy, y'all. We cannot focus on one and not the other. They both part of the same damn system, and they affect all of us. No matter what your intersection is, we all feel the effects of patriarchy. Let's go to the next guest. Earthbound, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please?
I am 43, she, her, and I'm a light complected European or child of Mother Africa via Europe. That's what I'll say, because we're all children of Mother Africa. I'm actually mixed race, but I look white. I'll say that. I look like what people call white. I reject the idea of white as a thing. It's BS.
All right, so why you gonna say you black?
Well, I'm not saying I'm black. I am actually mixed race, but I'm not black mixed race. My grandmother was Chinese.
All right, so
yeah.
All right, all right. We're gonna say you white, but go ahead, talk to us.
So, but I guess the main point I wanted to speak to you about is when we talk about the patriarchy. Now, all I want to talk about, and I don't want to, if I'm getting out of line here, please tell me. I do not want to disrespect anyone. Yeah. I just want to shift the focus outwards a bit, because what the people that call themselves white, man, they're institutionalized. They're institutionalized to believe there's something they're not, because their cultures, their groups were pushed out of them too. They may know where their history is, which I think definitely, when it comes, especially in the colonized world, the black communities within the colonized world, that was stolen because of the horrific things that happened, right?
You saying the black communities were stolen?
Yes, I'm actually absolutely. Maybe I sound a little bit too philosophical. I'm sorry. But yes, black communities were stolen from Africa, of course, and I'm saying that. But the people who were taken to the colonized world, I'm not talking about the taken abroad. The slave trade. I don't really like talking about it because it's not my place to talk about it, other than to condemn, right? And I'm sorry if I sound a little bit here. I'm entering your space. I'm a guest, right? But I'm a guest in your space. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but yes, the history, the culture was robbed and stripped from people that were brought by the transatlantic slave trade, and that is a travesty that can never be repaid, ever. No one can repay that. The only, we can only try, but it'll never happen. Now, white, and I'm using white as only because it's what's in common language. Our cultures were stripped from us too, to put against other groups, because this world isn't, I think we all know this isn't run by those. If you got to worry about paying a bill, you're not anywhere near the top. You got to think about where your bills are coming from, where your rent's coming from at all. I mean, even in the slightest. You
When you
do
say
not.
your culture was stripped, by who?
Not in the same way, by any way, shape, or form. I'm not putting the same level of extremity here.
But you said they were stripped, as in they were taken from you by someone?
We were convinced that we were like our feudal masters, because the colonialism is just an extension of feudalism. It's European feudalism that just extended into something new, because
What I'm trying to
desire.
say is, you said that you were stripped of your cultural
Yeah,
identity, and so what I'm
yeah,
trying to say is,
not a culture.
by who?
By our feudal masters, by the people above us that may look kind of like us, but they're not us. They're the ones who want to control us, all of us. This is really more me
Do you
asking.
think they were stripped, or do you think it would be better to say that they were put down, set
We were.
aside, if you will?
That's a better way to put it. Yeah, I'll give
There's
you
a
that.
book
I'll give
about
you
this called "Working Towards Whiteness."
that's it. We were told to stop thinking of ourselves as Germans and Scots and Irish and Poles and things like that, and think of ourselves as white,
And you
because
did it willingly, with vigor.
I don't think everything was willing. I can even tell you about my own ancestry, where it was. You know, it was still a big thing even in the 20th century to be, if you were one ethnic group that was European compared to another ethnic group that was European. My great uncle was.
Y'all petty, man. Shout out to y'all. Thank you for the Panther pause. Y'all funny, man. Y'all got him up out of here.
I wanted
Y'all
to,
got
yeah,
him.
I wanted to say something to him because he's saying it wasn't willingly, but don't these German people have commemorative rings for coming to the things that they were in POW camps in America? They have commemorative rings because of how much they enjoyed being on these POW work camps, right? Nobody bothered to escape. They had drinks, they had style. Like, do y'all not? They have photos of this and videos, y'all. Like, if it wasn't willingly, how did they have all this memorabilia and reminisce on this? They've done interviews with these people in old age and they reminisce on it and say, I want to go back to America. Because they just integrated so well into the South after, these great liberation of these camps, during that time. I'm like, whatever, bro. Yeah, stop thinking of yourself as German and Italian, because here, you're just good old white. It's right.
And they said, and they proved themselves. That's what the book is about. The book talked about how
Yeah.
they not. It's called "Working Towards Whiteness." I forgot the name of the author. Y'all can look him up. Google it. "Working Towards Whiteness." They didn't just have their culture taken from them. They worked to get into whiteness. They labored to get accepted into the status quo. It was not something that just they took our culture from us. It wasn't forced on them. They could have fought back. They decided not to, and to go and show. And how did they show it? By treating our ancestors just as disparagingly as the Anglo-Saxons did, especially the
Yes.
Irish. Absolutely. So they took part in it.
Car bombs, and I mean, so many of the neighborhoods that their grandparents, great grandparents moved in were black neighborhoods that they pushed us out of.
Yeah.
That was crazy. What he was
Right.
saying was crazy to me.
This is a topic that I am like very passionate about uniquely. One, I'm gonna start with the mixed thing. Now, I am not only a mixed person, I am the white mama kind of mixed. I am not the good one. I am not lucky. Like, however, If you ask me my race, because I have to interact like a black person, because I look black, I am black. The other way you can be black is having that same amount of blackness and you care about that culture. If you have to enter this space and refer to something as Mother Africa, maybe be quiet. Maybe just say you're white. Maybe just own up to it and say, hey, be like Halsey. Halsey got a black daddy. You don't ever hear Halsey call herself black, because when do I get to interact like a black, when do I have to interact like a black person?
Mm-hmm.
That is a cop-out. Don't do it again. I don't know if you're still here. Don't do that dumb shit again. I can't tell. I'm sorry. Anyway, but to the bigger point of what the point they're getting at gets to this logical fallacy that politics, agreeing with politics, voting, all is about trade. I trade you safety for autonomy. White cultures in America have given up that autonomy for safety at every choice they could until about 2015 when Ancestry.com came out and started telling y'all what flavor of white you were. And I don't care what the hell else, I don't care if it's pink Himalayan salt, I don't care if it's table salt, it is NaCl salt. All of y'all are the same. At the root, it makes it much worse for you were ready to sacrifice your much more interesting cultures like Eastern Europeans, Russians, Armenians, Ukrainians. They do not come to America and sacrifice that culture. That's why they still get side eyes as immigrants. Y'all integrate and assimilate to this culture because it is easy and helpful for you. Please do not pretend like it is anything else. Please do not get on this telephone and play like, oh, well, they had it stripped. No, they made a trade-off, and that's a fine trade. Leverage how you want to leverage, but you don't get to play boo-hooey when you use your leverage in that manner.
Absolutely.
That is silly. You sound silly.
Absolutely. That's fact. That's yeah. So I'm gonna let y'all know. This is you come up here. I don't care what your intersection is. If you closer, related to a jar of mayonnaise, then my brothers and sisters, we gonna give you some side eye. You better watch your privilege in here. We're not doing that. Coming up here and trying to center your, what do you say, African by way of Europe, like that. That's too crazy. We just asked what your race is. You don't gotta give us your what's that, anthropology. You don't gotta go that deep into it. And yeah, unless anybody else has anything to say, I think I'm gonna take it down. Anybody else want to speak on anything? Let me know.
Yeah, I was gonna say, bro, he was straight like I don't know, like the cognitive dissonance. I think that was like a serious condition he had.
Yeah, that's something else going on. They like to try to play the oppressed and the oppressor. You know what I'm saying? They try to beat both, the victim and the bully. And that's another thing we could talk about. I mean, if I really wanted to do a topic on intersectionality and the intersections of those in the privileged class, we can talk about how they weaponize any oppressed intersection that they are a part of and try to, gain some proximity when we have discussions about holding them accountable. They try to find anything away from whiteness that they can latch onto and say, by way of Asia, I'm an African too. Like they trying to reach around the world and shit. But yeah,
he was gonna say, yeah, I have talked to, like, I ain't even gonna say talk because it always seemed like it turned into a debate. But some of the classmates that I've had and certain people, and if you take an honors class as a black person, they're still wondering how you even got in there from the get-go. But even when you talk to them, the way that they are a hop, skip, and a step from making a logical sounding representation of racism and a lot of other things associated with it to almost convince you that what you were saying is incorrect and what they're saying is right. I'm like, bruh, y'all are, and then you make it sound so good. He talk about feudalism. I'm like, bro, stop. That's not even, bro, it's not even, he talk about it branched off. No, it didn't.
Yeah, it was given we were oppressed too. It's the same old thing, Irish slavery, all that.
Yeah,
mess.
same. That's like the schnitzel people, pretzels police.
Right.
They
Yeah.
was the same one. I was just following orders. Like, okay, but does that still make it right? That's called accessory. I don't
Right.
know what to tell you in law, but that's an accessory.
That's right. Yeah.
Just wanted to say, just take responsibility. Like, if you really care, if you really at all want to sound like you know what's going on in the world, or even in your own delusion, just take responsibility. Like, it's not that hard. That's all I gotta say. Thank you. It was a great life, brother.
Appreciate you, Bri. Thank
So
you.
you shutting down for the night?
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta go.
All right, so y'all know what I always say. Holy Spirit, activate, activate, activate. We appreciate everyone that came in for the show. I hope you enjoyed the class act that we put on, and sometimes we show our ASS. But at the end of the day, if you ain't black, make sure you jump in that tub before you jump in black business. Good night.
Appreciate y'all. I'm
Thank
out of
you.
here. Shout out to
Appreciate it.
Stella. Wow, Stella. Thank you, Stella. Make
That
sure
was
y'all
so
go show
good.
some love to that last video I posted. I posted a video. Um, I'm making sure that the algorithm is still on my side, but I've been getting a lot of followers lately, so I think it's working. I think hopefully able to kind of curate a community, a Pan African community. Hopefully. Also, check out the link in my bio, B1 Initiative. I got the link back up. If you want to donate to the Congo, you can donate there. Send $1. Send $1. Send $1. Send something. I'm sending something. So just whatever you can, or even if it's every other day, I just send something. You know what I'm saying? So the brothers and sisters out there were using their phones. These are their phones. They didn't get a fair price for what was taken from their land to make these phones. So let's donate to the Congo, y'all. And then what else I got going on? Oh yeah, B1 Initiative. You can also join the Discord. It's right there on the same page. You got the Discord right here, and the link for the Congo is right beneath it. And then check me out on YouTube. I'm going to post the replays every day at 12. And yeah, appreciate y'all. Shout out to Leisha, D, lovely Rose Petals, Molly. Appreciate y'all. Hoodoo. And thank you to Kay and D for co-hosting as always. T Dup, appreciate you as well. You always coming through. Kay, were you about to say something, sis?
Yeah, I was just gonna say thank you. And I also wanted to say I just wanted people to, I don't know, I just want them to understand, like, everything that you think about, like, think about it consciously. Like, even if it's something small that you don't evaluate, like whistling, just think about it for a moment and think about it in the bigger scheme of things. Do you still want to navigate to a system that is trying to exclude you at every turn? Do
Mm-hmm.
something different. If it's just one thing different in your life every day, please do it. And just help build yourself up, take accountability, and unify. Cause the
Absolutely.
brothers out here, they need it. Our kids, they need it. And I don't have no kids and nothing like that, but I know I could be a mentor to another brother or sister someday too, cause they need it, cause I needed it, but I didn't have
Absolutely.
it. I had to figure it out. But
Mm-hmm.
please, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right,
See you
sister.
later.
All right, y'all. One love. Peace.
Soap, water, and rag. Let's go.